In the 10th anniversary year of the Australia Cup, round of 32 action returns to the site of one of the original cup sets. 7 years on from their famous 1-0 win against Perth Glory, two-time NSL Cup winners Heidelberg United will look to upset an A-League's outfit again at Olympic Village. It's an opportunity for the Burgers to make it a clean sweep of Victorian member-fed sides through to the round of 16. But the toughest tie has been saved for last. Lying in wait, the A-League's champions, the treble winners, the mighty Central Coast Mariners. Mark Jackson's side conquered all but the Australia Cup last season, culminating in that magic grand final win in Gosford. Tonight could be the first step in filling that final gap in their 2024 trophy cabinet, but they're still early in pre-season and they're up against an NPL side who have lost just once in 486 days on their home turf. Progression is by no means a sure thing. Regardless of result though, Cup nights at the Village, they always have a special feel to them. Now, as the teams make their way out, we get into the starting lineups to see if it is a special result to match. And in this Heidelberg United lineup, there are 5 players with A-League experience to call on, headlined by former Mariner Yaron Souza in goals. He was an A-League champion with the Central Coast in 2023. He was the club fine master and still has the club championship tattoo on his body. Further afield, Adrian Zara is a Heidelberg living legend, the captain with 200 games for the club. Anthony Lesiotis has 5 years experience in the A-League system with the likes of Melbourne Victory and Melbourne City, while in the front 3, watch out for number 11 Sabit Nyor. He has 3 goals and 2 assists in just 5 games for the Burgers since signing from Finnish side Ilves. He'll be partnered on the wings by former Brisbane Roar player Nicholas Olsen, while the ex-Jet Kane Shepherd is one to also watch out for on the bench. He scored a winner against the Central Coast Mariners in an F3 derby a few years ago for the Newcastle Jets. But it is the Central Coast Mariners lineup that we look at next, and there are just a handful of players remaining from the starting 11 that took to the field in the 2024 Grand Final, 5 to be exact, which means there are 4 new faces. Adam Pavlicic signs from Sydney FC. He is the older brother of former Central Coast Mariners youth player and current Bayern Academy talent Anthony Pavlicic. Storm Rue will wear the captain's armband in his 10th Australia Cup appearance for the Mariners. Lucas Moragas is also in the back 4. He's crossed the F3 Derby divide. And watch out for Vitor Feijão, the new Brazilian who signed a week ago on his 28th birthday. He'll be joined alongside by fellow Brazilian Mikel Doca in his sophomore season, while up top, the youngest goal scorer in grand final history, Miguel De Pizio, leads the line alongside Alu Kuol. That's the face of John Anastasiadis, a man who is no stranger to the A-League's level. He's a former senior assistant with Western United. This is his first year with Heidelberg, but he is no stranger to the Cup tonight. His 14th match in charge of an NPL outfit in the national rounds. Experienced referee Alex King is in charge tonight. He's assisted by Andrew Memorakis and Astro Sakalis, the assistant referee team, while Jonathan Barrero, fresh off refereeing a cup set last night at South Melbourne, is the 4th official. And now it is time for Mark Jackson to make his debut in the Australia Cup. He won every single other trophy that he possibly could last year, the treble winners. And tonight he can add an Australia Cup victory to his name and progression through the tournament. There he is alongside his assistant, Danny Schofield. And there is the centre of defence for the Central Coast Mariners tonight, Brian Kaltak alongside Nathan Paul. And there's a familiar face for Mariners fans if you're watching on, Yaron Souza. Storm Rue, he'll be playing against tonight, was his ex-roommate in the Mariners years. And we are all in readiness at Olympic Village. The bright lights of Catalina Street are ready for another NPL v A-Leagues clash, and we are underway at Olympic Village. And who better to join me in the booth as well than a 3-time A-League champion and a 2-time Heidelberg United player, Archie Thompson. It was a short but sweet time at the Burgers, but you've had a pretty warm reception here at OV.
Yeah, very, very short. That was straight after my A-League career with Melbourne Victory. I came to Heidelberg for 2 matches. We actually lost here in the semi-finals to South Melbourne. But yeah, it's great to be back here. This is probably the first time I've been back since they've done the whole renos here on the stadium, and the facilities look fantastic. Pitch looks great. They haven't played any football on this in the last 2 weeks, so we're going to see an entertaining match tonight.
We've had a week break, Heidelberg, for the State Cup final, which they weren't able to reach, but coming off the back of a entertaining 1-1 draw against Hume City a fortnight ago. They are experienced cup campaigners, the Burgers. This is their 6th appearance on the national stage, which is the equal most of any NPL side. The quarterfinals last year before being knocked out by fellow NPL Victoria outfit Melbourne Knights. And of course, the Village was the site of one of the great cup sets, Archie, against Perth Glory, one of your former teammates, Kenny Athier, the hero 7 years ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Actually, I did play a little bit of football here with Kenny Athier at Heidelberg. He was a legend in this part of the neck of the woods in Melbourne. But yeah, it would be interesting, obviously, to see Central Coast, how they get used to this tempo of football. We know with A-League clubs coming into this round really underdone, and I did speak to Mark Jackson before this game. It's a little bit unusual for him coming into any pre-season where you've got a cup game straight up, and also too trying to get used to the players that you have that are coming in, wanting to get used to a system. But look, I'm just looking out here onto the pitch. But when you've got Caltech at the back there just marshalling things, he's also so fantastic and experienced.
He is the marshal in that back four. Storm Roux, certainly the most experienced head out there for the Mariners. Really fascinating to see what Mark Jackson can produce in his sophomore season as Mariners head coach. We talk about setting the bar high in your first year. Taking an A-League team to uncharted territory. Here's another man who set the bar high last year, Miguel DePizio. It's picked up by Vitor Fegeo, signed from Brazilian third-tier side Caxias. He's the 6th Brazilian to play for the Central Coast Mariners. One of the other 6 is on the opposite flank, Mikel Docker. Storm Roux. Mariners starting to settle into a nice phase of possession. Fegeo on the right for the Mariners, and DePizio returning the favour in kind. Really promising stuff from the champions, and DePizio flashes the first shot in anger of the evening. A goal kick to come from Yaron Souza, but a few promising flashes from young Miguel DePizio.
Yeah, again, it was a beautiful ball, just slipped through the legs. And Fegeo just showing his speed already. I was just watching him off the screen when the ball was being played. He likes to already make runs in behind, run the line and try to get the ball behind. And, he'll get used to that type of football that Central Coast play. They're a very patient team. We saw it last year in the A-League. They don't mind having that possession, passing it around, and then when they do get forward, it usually always ends up in an end product. But DePizio, I mean, we saw his heroics in the grand final last year. Such an exciting player.
He really is. It was a breakout year for the 18-year-old. 5 goals. Fegeo will be hoping for his first this evening. Of those 5 goals for DePizio, 4 of them came past the 75th minute mark. So it wasn't just that he was scoring, Arch, it was when he was scoring. There were massive goals, including that one in extra time in the grand final to put the Mariners ahead against Victory.
Yeah, he even got an important goal, I think, to get things started in that Asia Cup match.
Yeah, AFC Cup as well, yeah.
So, yeah, he did decide to stick around the A-League. I mean, the club overseas wanted him, but he felt like that he needed to stay and play a little bit more football. And under Mark Jackson, you've seen the development of some of these young players.
Sliding challenge by former Japanese youth international Asahi Yokokawa. a great debut season in the local competition. 6 goals for the 22-year-old. Would you believe Archie will spot one potential familiar face in the Mariners lineup? He played in a youth tournament for Japan back in 2018 against Australia. Starting keeper for the Aussie side was none other than Adam Pavlicic.
There you go.
It's a small world, football. It's a small world. And it is Heidelberg looking to make a big statement in that small world tonight. It will be the 16th cup set. They've got form NPL Victoria sides in the tournament 2024 for round of 32 upsets. We have trounced Sydney FC, South Melbourne. We saw them seal a famous win against Wellington last night. Fajeo just didn't really get the purchase. Quoll heads it into the path of DePizio. The Mariners building nicely again, but the Burgers get their defensive coverage back swiftly, and that's a decent line-breaking pass from Collins to find Mohamed Aidara, the Senegalese midfielder. Yokokawa asking the question of Sabit Nyor. That is easy pickings for the new keeper, Adam Pavlicic. Big shoes for the likes of Pavlicic and Wachowski to fill after the retirement of Danny Vukovic. What an absolute legend, Arch.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of playing with Danny Vukovic at Melbourne Victory. Such a great leader. He just seemed to get better and better as he aged, and now he's the goalkeeper coach, so he's only going to learn a lot from Danny Vukovic. Pavlicic, sorry. DePizio had a great opportunity there too, by the way. I just thought he would have pulled the trigger with the right foot, but you know, he's favoured left.
Looking sharp in the early knocking Central Coast. Brewers advanced out of his full-back position, lays it back to one of the other new faces for the Mariners, Alfie McCalmont. Aidara was solid in the challenge. Managed to withstand a number of converging bodies, and now he's moving the magnets further afield. A nice pass through the lines for Olsen, and this might be a chance brewing. The touch was heavy from Yokokawa, but he helped it on its way to Sabit Nyor. He's been the danger player for the Burgers in recent weeks. What can he produce? Not much in the face of Lucas Moragas, who is an inter-league signing for the Mariners, but I think a really good acquisition across from the Jets, Archie.
Yeah, fantastic. And yeah, that was a good little interchange play by Heidelberg there. Just took his eye off as the ball was coming to him. Yokogawa knocked out the Mariners at the round of 32 stage in each of the last 2 seasons. If we get as much drama as they've had in their last couple of round of 32 games, we should be in for a treat. Both have ended 3-3 and gone to penalties against Sydney FC. Searching forlornly for the opening. Fajeo will pick up the pieces, the Brazilian at the back stick. Hadley tap. Side for McCalmont. Now Docker. Stopped initially by Jamal Ali. Defeated Nathan Paul. A long ball in search of Fajeo, who has had plenty of it early in his Mariners debut. The cross, though, easy pickings for Yaron Souza. This will be a really special night for Yaron Souza. Only 3 appearances with the Mariners. You do live a bit of an interesting life as a reserve keeper. This one was easily dealt with the cross on the right-hand side from Fajeo. How many times have we seen in the A-League Caltech with a long ball out from the fence? And Fajeo, again, like I said, running that line, keeping it on side. The ball seems to be coming out to this side a lot where he's getting in behind. And you're right, Moragas is a great signing for Central Coast Mariners. We saw what he did with Newcastle Jets last year.
Fajeo was around Olsen. Assistant referee had a very good view of that one and was quick to whistle in favour of the Mariners. I don't think Nicholas Olsen can have too many issues with this one. We'll take another look, but Fajeo rode the line and don't think you can have a lot of complaints, eh?
No, he can't. He saw that the defender was coming in, just got a nice little touch. Already exciting start for Vijay.
Certainly promising. He's got, as Brazilians go, tough player to match where first seasons are concerned because of this man, Mikel Docker. It's a delightful delivery towards the back post. Heidelberg heads first to the ball, and eventually away. He'll be coming back in the opposite direction. Mikel Docker. Oh, lovely flick for DePizio. The first time ball, though. Never really caught it, and some Heidelberg supporters behind the goals will look to retrieve that one.
Some slick passing from Central Coast Mariners already early. Yeah, Docker. I mean, it did take a little while for him to find his feet here in Australia. As soon as he started playing regular football, he was fantastic. And I think with Vijay coming in, it actually makes it a lot easier if you've got someone that is from the same country, can speak the language.
Well, you're absolutely right. He spoke in media during the season. He mentioned how important it was for him to have Marco Tullio, of course, is now over in Japan, helping him to acclimatise after a slow start. Started just 9 times in the first half of the season, didn't score a goal. Second half of the campaign, 20 starts from 22 games, 7 goals. So once he got settled, he really got going, and now he'll look to be that same welcoming influence for Vitor Feijão. It's over on the far side now for the Mariners. And Docker won't be able to retrieve from Sabitnor. He's darting his way down the right-hand side and looking to set Josh Pinn on his way. And there's a bit of miscommunication there between Brian Kaltak and his new teammate Adam Pavlicic, but eventually they conspire to make the claim.
Yeah, great run by Nior. Just tried to slip him in there on the shoulder. But then as Caltech was coming back, it's a little bit hairy. Probably would have liked to have dealt with that a little bit easier. But again, we saw that ball out from Caltech, out to Moragas. Again here.
Ooh, not well cleared by the Heidelberg defence. Skipping round a challenge. That time was Alu Kuol. And Alex King awards a free kick. They were caught a little bit short that time, the Burgers. Aiden Fedahajic has a bit to say about the decision. The pass attempting to take it out of the back four was a little bit askew. Feijão went for the unselfish option. And it's a pretty open and shut case.
Yeah, it just got him a little bit late. But it does make a huge difference when your centre-back can pass the ball out in these wide areas, in behind, to your feet, on your stride. And Docker, this is a really good position for him.
It's a fair distance out, but we did see a fantastic free kick here at Olympic Village a few seasons ago in the round of 32, but they've taken it short. Rue blocked it the first time of asking by Adrian Zara. And this time Ben Collins will clear for Heidelberg United. They're sitting in 5th in NPL Victoria. They've only lost a couple of times though this season. Only once here at Olympic Village in their last 23 games. It's to South Melbourne in the Doherty Cup playoff, so a good side at home, but the Mariners are giving them plenty of work to do so far.
Then Heidelberg just happy to sit in. Not being able to get too much of the ball. It's just when they do, they need to make sure that they're precise with their passing, making the right runs.
One's fallen kindly for Yokokawa, and Josh Pinn will turn on the afterburners. Pavlicic will be swift off his line and sends the ball sailing into, smack bang into the advertising hoardings atop the grandstand here at Olympic Village.
Again, that ball was played a little bit early for Pinn. You can see Johnny Anastasiadis on the bench here was saying, just hold on. Olsen was out here on the left-hand side free. He's about making the right decisions at the right time.
We've seen a few A-League sides so far, Archie, have slower starts against NPL opposition. Are you impressed with how swift the Mariners have been for the most part so far?
Yeah, definitely. They are a team that do pass the ball very well and great at holding possession. Like I said, when they need to sort of switch a gear and go forward, they can. But out of the A-League teams in the matches, they're probably the ones that look like they've started the best. But then, again, Heidelberg are just happy to sit off.
They've already played just the one pre-season game already, Central Coast. Jackson arranged the pre-season friendly for them against Manly United. And John Anastasiadis' side are well into the throes of their NPL Victoria campaign. This is a bit of an audition for Johnny A to show what he can do. The Mariners looking to show what they can do. The A-League's champions on the right-hand side. It's a stinging drive from Vitor Fegeo, bringing the best out of Yaron Souza. The ex-Mariner had to be at his best to repel a shot that moved a lot off the boot from the Brazilian.
Yeah, this link-up play by the front three. They're really forming a nice partnership already. Gets out at his feet. It just set up nicely from the strike.
Taken short again by the Mariners. They've done this a few times with their set pieces, and this time it was a fraction away from producing a promising opening. A slightly heavy touch from Mikael Docker. They're looking, it's not just that they're looking sharper than perhaps we've seen some of the A-League sides so far, Archie. They're looking flashy. They're styling it out there.
Yeah, definitely. And usually you need a bit of time to work on set plays, and obviously they're a team last year out of A-League teams that when they have a set play, they always seem to work something out. Like it's been worked on the training pitch. Maybe they've kept a lot of that from last year, worked on whatever they can at training.
This time Fegeo is going to find himself the enemy of the offside flag. It's going to relieve a bit of pressure. Look how happy the Heidelberg fans are, applauding the offside decision against the fence.
They're just probably happy to get a possession at the moment.
Stacked against the fence here at Olympic Village. Jackson will be fairly pleased with what he's seen inside the opening 17 minutes. Spent some time back in England. That's a great ball over the top for Josh Pinn. He was onside as well. Pinn had his pocket picked by Storm Rue. A solid challenge from the A-League's veteran. Well won back though by Lesiotis, and Pinn twisting, turning. And Calmont winning it back, but only momentarily. Yokokawa, it's real scrappy, and the Mariners eventually can clear through Caltech. And it drops perfectly for Vitor Fegeo. Calling support on the left-hand side. Fegeo elects for the switch, and it's read all the way by Jamal Ali. Newell. Really easy on the eye moment so far, Sabit Newell. Inside heads Nicholas Olsen. And across for Ali. It's been a decent spell. 30 seconds or so for the Burgers. Ali through the lines. Okakawa cutting it square. Cleared away by Caltech. That has awakened the Burgers fans at Olympic Village. You hear the iconic chants of Alexandros. You only played 2 games for the Burgers, Archie, but you probably would have heard that about 24 times a game, I would imagine.
Yeah, I still know it, and that was about 7 years ago. Yeah, but that was a great little passage from Heidelberg there. They did put a lot of pressure on the Central Coast team, especially in that back third. And you could see what Yokogawa was trying to do. He tried to do the reverse pass, look for Jamal's second run. But great, that's what Heidelberg need to do.
Yokokawa around Rue in the first instance. And outside of the foot to Olsen. The Burgers are building really beautifully. And what is the decision here? A corner ball for Heidelberg United, their first of the evening. And credit the endeavour of Nicholas Olsen.
Again, great little run out here in this wide area. Weighted pass just perfectly. Olsen, little heavy touch, but using his speed to try and get that ball across. And a great tackle from Caltech. always reads those balls in those 18-yard boxes so well.
Chance for the Burgers to show what they can do from set pieces. The Mariners have taken many of theirs short, worked on some training ground moves. All tonight's hosts offer up from the flag. To be a bit of an orchestrated situation. Yokokawa scoops it into the mixer, away by Kaltak, only as far as Ali. It's a full-blooded commitment to the ball, and it produces another corner. So, reward for effort for Heidelberg. 2 corners in quick succession.
Like I said, this is a really great little bit of football from Heidelberg. Starting to put a bit of pressure on Central Coast Mariners when they've got the ball. It's all about the delivery into the box.
In again at the front post, and stopped on its way by the Mariners' defence. Contact bringing the lines up, but after an opening 15-20 minutes where they were on the back foot, the NPL Victoria outfit, they are growing in confidence. Does it have a goal-bound chance at the end? Paul away, another Mariners or another Burgers corner. One more for the Mariners to defend.
As they say in football, it doesn't matter how many possession or the amount of chances you create. It's about scoring goals. And we did see Central Coast dominate the first period of this match, but Heidelberg are starting to get themselves back into this match.
Will be third time's the charm from the flags for the Burgers. Olsen in towards Yokokawa. The bouncing ball. A few questions of a penalty shout, but Alex King not having a bar, and Sabitnur in the confusion blasted away. Ben Collins was the man who got himself around the football, but nothing doing. Have another look. What do you think, Archie?
Oh, look, he did put his head down to try to get that ball. I don't think Moragas gets a foot to him. But Muir, always difficult when the ball's bouncing back towards you to try to hit that on target, especially so far out.
No VAR, of course, in the Australia Cup. Not that it would have been needed for that particular incident, but just sure it's all above board. As this game is really coming to a boil, I think it might be the perfect time to head down to Michael Zapponi, who is taking it all in from pitch side. Zappers, how have you found the opening 22 minutes at Olympic Village?
Yeah, really exciting. As you said, the Central Coast Mariners starting well, but in the last 5 minutes, Heidelberg United have really come into this game. You touched on some of their key players tonight, and great to see Joshua Pin, who's started the season well for Heidelberg in the NPL competition, and Yokokawa, both combined 13 goals so far this season, and they've started this contest well. Yokokawa putting his body on the line in that last piece of play as well. Mark Jackson was pretty happy about 15 minutes into the game. He was getting a message out to Storm Roux to make sure he got forward as often as he could. And you see that message coming out to him, and Storm Roux playing a crucial role tonight as the captain as well for the Central Coast Mariners.
Certainly seen him grow into the game, has Storm Roux. Take up those more advanced positions. He's had more defending to do, though, in the past couple of minutes. The Burgers with plenty of numbers forward, and it has played across for Sabitnur. Cut back into the middle. It needed a touch in the Mariners' defence. Well, hasn't this cup tie come to life? Could the Mariners strike back the other way? Fegeo is being urged to drive by the coaches on the bench, and he'll still go on. Fegeo, thwarted by Adrian Zara. Pin. That one askew for Sabitnur. Really found another gear here, Heidelberg.
Yeah, definitely. And Muir with another great run in behind. I don't know what happened there with Pin, Josh Pin. I think he's just got his feet muddled up. It looked like he went to go with his right when the easy option was to go with your left to just open up for the goal. But, you know, when the ball's coming in with that sort of speed and plays around, but Muir again with some delicate feet and beautiful ball across.
They were easy to watch, Central Coast, when they had this game all their own way. How will they respond to the challenge that John Anastasiadis' side are beginning to throw up? Over the top it goes for Vitor Fegeo. The first time cross nipped in the bud by Adrian Zara. Would have still been around the traps at the Burgers when you were playing here, Archie. You recently brought up his 200th Heidelberg appearance as the 17th player in the history of the club.
We've had our first goal of this evening between the NWS Spirit and Glenorchy Knights. Let's bring you the action from Christie Park.
Darko's there and tapped in. Spirit score first. Michael Conestabro got the decisive touch right on the goal line.
Well, they've been dominating possession and they have the 1-0 lead, the Spirit. Let's get back to our commentators at Olympic Village. It's over to Lockie and Arch.
We're sticking with one club. You see it a lot in the NPL.
Got some iconic, loyal characters in this side. And some of their new faces are showing their best. That was a bit of a blind turn, though, from Yokokawa. One back well in the middle by Lesiotis. Newell gives chase. It's back at the feet of Pavlicic. Newell close quickly! Oh, goodness me! Inches away from a horror moment on debut for Adam Pavlicic. But a magic one for Sabit Newell, who just refused to give up on the ball.
Well, definitely the tide has turned. The amount of pressure, like I said, that Heidelberg's putting on Central Coast. Pavlicic just couldn't get the ball at his feet to be able to pass it. Just a heavy touch. Sabit was really close to scoring there. I just thought before that, Lesiotis had a great opportunity to switch this ball out to the right side. Took it a little bit casually, and I actually looked down to the bench. J.A., the manager, was like, the arms up in the air, because that was a pivotal moment.
This game is becoming more of a battle, and Vitor Fegeo is in the wars at the moment. He's on the turf receiving treatment, and Mark Jackson is using this stoppage in play to throw out what are some much-needed instructions in the last few minutes for the Mariners. Alfie McCalmont getting a stern talking to as Fegeo returns to his feet. Yeah, very familiar with one another, Mark Jackson and Alfie McCalmont. Former Leeds junior. He's the Mariners' new number 8. Played under Mark Jackson. So this is the challenge that sent Vitor Fegeo to the turf.
I actually don't mind that from Fegeo. He sees that he doesn't mind getting back and trying to do the dirty work. I've played with plenty of Brazilians that don't like to do that. Just give me the ball, let me do my magic. But, you know, there's another part of the game, and that's defending. And I admit I didn't do that well. But that's what you want to see from your foreigners coming in. And, you know, I think with Alfie and McClarmont coming in, you know, we would have heard or would have seen the scenes from Central Coast, I'm guessing, with Edmondson scoring those 2 goals. There goes, oh, I want to be there. So that could have swayed his decision to come.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good recruitment strategy for new signings, isn't it? You just show them the video of the scenes after the grand final, and it's where do I sign on the dotted line? More trouble here, though. Idara has picked the pocket of Brad Tapp. And Rue kept a cool head, manages to pick a pass for McCalmont. And now Mariners, they have space and runners. Lucas Moragas down the left. Short for Mikel Docker. He can hit them, does hit them. And it just didn't dip in time for the Brazilian.
Yeah, how many times have we seen that where Docker just sort of comes off the line, drops into a pocket, receives the ball, and when he's got space and he sees that goal, he's got one thing on his mind. And he's hit that really well. It just didn't seem to dip at the just quick enough.
He certainly has it in the locker. 7 goals to go with 11 assists in his first year in Australia across all competitions. He's back on the ball here, Docker. Lovely pass to for Moragas. His touch let him down. Eventually, Aaron Souza can come across to gobble up the ball. What's changed, Archie? What have Heidelberg done differently in the last 10-15 minutes to make this game a far more even open contest than we saw in the opening exchanges?
Well, I think it was maybe that little passage there where the ball was sort of bouncing around. They were sort of throwing themselves in, winning that second ball. And, you know, and then they started to get the hold of the possession and started to feel that bit of confidence. And when you start to create chances, that certainly helps. I think also, too, Central Coast started so well. But, you know, as the game goes on, when you've got tired legs, haven't played much football, you know, decisions start to, you know, I know it's only early,
Lovely first touch from Sabit Nor. The space opens up. Nor! Fantastic save. Adam Pavlicic. The Burgers, their knock becomes more persistent. Olsen in the middle. And away, and a foul by Josh Pinn.
We've had another goal, yes, in New South Wales. It is the Spirit taking control. Let's have a look at this one once we get through this replay.
Darko's motoring ahead of the ball. Chiniak obliges. Darko! Richie Darko! They love him here at Christie Park, and it's because he scores goals like that. It's 2-0 to the Spirit.
Yep, they're on fire at the moment. It's very close in this one. Let's get back to Lockie and Arch.
He's had one massive nervy moment in his first game in a Mariners shirt, Adam Pavlicic, but that will settle the nerves significantly, I dare say. That'll be the last time he's under threat, though. Nicholas Olsen, former Brisbane Roar player. Idara past the challenge of DePizio and wide for Yokokawa. Starting to commit more numbers. Yokokawa into the middle. Pin. It drops here. Nyor couldn't sort his feet. Miscommunication between he and Olsen. It still might drop, though, for Ali, and eventually Moragas can repel the danger. Well, they've played nearly a full season of NPL action, Archie. Sabit Nyor signed in mid-season, still at 6s and 7s with his teammate.
Yeah, well, look, I guess when the ball comes out to you, one's sort of on your left, the one's on your right in the middle, it's like, who's going to hit it? And unfortunately, no one hits it. It probably would have been better for Sabit. He ought to hit that when it was on his favourite left foot.
A penny for the thoughts of John Anastasiadis on the bench. I don't care which one of you hits it, just someone hit it, please.
Well, back in his day, I know for sure that he would have gone, that's my ball.
He would not have had any trouble firing that one on goal, that's
definitely
for sure.
Not, definitely not.
He's made a name for himself as an ambitious coach who still hopes to make the jump to the A-League head coaching role one day. He was a legend as a player. 200 games in Greece for PAOK. Two-time NSL winner with South Melbourne. Back here at the club where his playing journey started. And where he grew up as a childhood supporter. His dad a former goalkeeper for Heidelberg United as well. In 1968, Nick Anastasiadis.
That's great football from Anthony Lesiadis there. He wrote a few challenges. He's coming into a bit of a cul-de-sac. Managed to knock it past and win a foul.
Pleased with what he's seen so far, Johnny A. Anthony Lesiadis has been one of, I think, Archie, would it be fair to say he's been one of the important contributors to this turnaround in the balance of this game so far?
Yeah, I think it's so pivotal in matches to be able to dominate that central middle of the park, and I felt like for Central Coast early on in this game they were able to find space in that area, and they've sort of blocked that up, and he's been key to that.
Nathan Paul centrally for McCalmont. And there is that long ball again for Vitor Fugeo. This little 1-2 between he and DePizio. McCalmont stops and props and feeds Docker, who has it stolen off him through the back, but it drops kindly for McCalmont. Moragas now back onto the right boot. Lucas Moragas. McCalmont's again. Docker. Now DePizio. Fast feet. Quoll couldn't trap. Rather, it was Fugeo up top. And Paul gets the beating of Pin, but not without some chagrin from the Burgers faithful. Moragas has been really advanced as the Mariners fullback, but he's had an engaging battle with Jamal Ali so far. So they come again, the Mariners. Docker. Still Docker. Now Rue. Will he line one up? The answer is no. Fugeo with numbers to aim at in the penalty area. McCalmont will recycle, or will he look to strike on goal? McCalmont! So's are equal to the task. Both goalkeepers called into 2 bits of quality action now.
McCalmont has been really impressive this first half. First bit of a competition here in Australia. He's got some really great little touches there. Found himself a little bit of space, looked to cut in.
Joined the Leeds Academy at 9 years old. The boy from Thirsk made his Leeds debut when he was 19 under Marcelo Bielsa. A good person to learn from. Here he is in the A-League, having most recently played for Carlisle United. A teammate of Ryan Edmondson. Docker sets a task for Moragas. And it was a task that proved too great in the end.
Here we go with that opportunity. You can see they were shaping up to shoot. Put it back onto his right side. Made the keeper work.
It's quite a solid save from Souza in the end, because you would have caught it on the reverse angle there. The ball was bobbling along the surface, and those bounces are not always kind to keepers, are they?
They're certainly not.
Probably quite kind to you over the
Yeah, I did all my work in the 18-yard box. I never shot from outside.
Never needed to bounce. Vijay. The step overs are launched. The cross sent in and turned away for a Mariners corner. 37 minutes at Olympic Village really flown by, and Vitor Vijay has had a big hand to play in that first half of his life as a Mariner. Mikael Docker across on corner duties. And the treble winners find the breakthrough before the break. Well away. Rue with take 2 by Moragas. Kautak was clever. That wasn't the best pass from Rue, but Olsen not able to pick it off. Storm Rue. Great to see him wearing the captain's armband. One of the Mariners' all-time leading appearance makers. His 203rd game for the Central Coast. 5th all-time. Paul. The line-breaking pass was nearly a brilliant one for Alu Kuol. Haven't seen a great deal of so far this evening. Nyor. Plenty of him, and we've liked a lot of it.
Yeah, he's been great with the ball at his feet.
Sabit Nyor, he's one of those players. Oh, here we go again. Never got the chance to play senior A-League level. Idara to the far side for Olsen. Nice little chop inside. Idara continued his run. Olsen! Didn't really catch it, just fired away. And the shot on target could have been big trouble for the champions.
Idara there made a great run into the 18-yard box, and the 1-2 went for power instead of maybe looking to place that.
Say what you will about the finish, but the interplay that led up, the fact that Heidelberg are finding those sorts of gaps and linking those kind of passes is very promising, especially if this game heads to the break level. Still time for either side to flip the script, though.
And I do like the way that Idara is making those runs from deep into that 18-yard box.
Docker stood up by Jamal Ali. Continue to gallivant out of the right full-back position. Yokokawa. The dancing feet of Asahi Yokokawa. Lovely move. And in the middle, Idara. Got a touch, but not a telling one. Olsen recycles at full stretch. It's cleared by Tap. Is this the beginning of another burst from the Burgers? Adrian Zara. Sets his sights towards Josh Pinn. Caltac nodding it back from whence it came. And Collins, one of Heidelberg's former A-League players. 5 appearances for Western United, including in the Cup. His debut against Adelaide United a few seasons ago. Of course, has knocked the Burgers out of the Cup last year with the Melbourne Knights. Here is Nicholas Olsen, driving towards goal. Lesiotis scoops it in the direction of Muir. He's been the man so far for Heidelberg United. What can he produce? Sabit Muir rolls it into the box, and it is lumped away once more.
He has got some dancing feet on him, doesn't he, Muir? Every time he gets that ball, it's step overs. The defenders don't know which way he's going. But as that ball was played in by Lesiotis, I don't know if you saw that ball that was played into him. He took that outside touch. I thought that was brilliant with the pressure that he was under.
It's the Mariners who are under a bit of pressure at the moment. Yokokawa is around Caltac. He points to the spot. Does Alex King. The Burgers have a penalty in the final 5 minutes of the first half. Yokokawa skipped round the challenge of Caltac. And a man who has rarely, if ever, put a foot wrong in Mariners colours was forced to make a choice that he didn't want to. And now Heidelberg United have a huge opportunity, Archie, to lead against A-League's opposition.
Well, Yokokawa with a great turn, and you can see that Caltac committed himself. He got a nice little touch around him. And when you get in front of your defender and the defender skips over the back of you and you feel a little bit of a touch, you go down. Just wondered if that was maybe a little bit outside the box. But Caltac, there was no complaint.
Josh Pinn has not scored since the 11th of June. Olympic Village lies in nervous wait. Saved by Pavlicic initially, but it is in anyway. And Olympic Village erupts as the Burgers lead against the A-League champions. It was a tightly fought thing. Pavlicic got a big port to it, but the powerful drive from Pinn was in anyway.
Oh, you can just see he sort of clipped his heel. I wonder if the contact was just outside the box and his momentum took him in. But doesn't take away from the penalty. I actually thought too it was a save from Pavlicic, but the power just sort of saved him there. And what a great start for Heidelberg United. And you could hear the crowd erupt when that went in.
There's Pinn with power, Pavlicic with a paw, but nothing more. And Heidelberg United are into the lead against the treble winners as we head to the halftime interval. And hasn't that flipped the script for Mark Jackson's men?
It certainly has, but how many times have we seen Central Coast go down in matches and seem to find a way? Well, we saw it at the grand final last year when it was basically the last kick of the game. So there's a lot of football still to be played. But Heidelberg would take a lot of confidence into that half-time break. I know there's still a little bit of time, but if they can hold a 1-0, they'll be happy, especially with absorbing a lot of that pressure early on in this first half.
Josh Pinn, his last goal was in the earlier rounds of the Cup in a 6-0 win against Bentley Greens. Close to 2 months since his last goal. You could not pick a better time to break your drought.
Sure, Heidelberg fans will forget about that if they go on and win this.
I'm sure it'll be a distant memory for him as well. Heading towards first half stoppage. It's a massive team talk coming up for both sides. It's the Mariners with work to do. Fageo has looked one of their more likely. No match that time for Nicholas Olsen. 2 minutes of stoppage added on. Jonathan Barrero taken quickly by the Mariners. If they can find their equaliser in first half stoppage, that would settle the nerves significantly. Are we looking at a second cup set in Victoria in the space of 24 hours? The third in the space of a week. Or will the Mariners be able to show their treble credentials? Docker. Lovely dribble. Taddick to work with and nearly picked the gap for Qual. Diptizio Alu Qual! Well, that would have been some way to answer back. It's another dipping drive from the top of the penalty area. Alu Qual hasn't been cited much tonight, but nearly made his impact very swiftly.
Yeah, he's been quiet in this first half, but when he does get that ball at his feet, and he's able to get a little bit of a turn and I guess a yard of space, he just hits it and goes a little bit over.
Let's have another look at this penalty arch. Asking the question of whether or not it was outside the box.
I don't know. I think this angle shows it a little bit better. Great work here. Just wondered if Caltech came across him. Ooh, I don't know. What's your thoughts on that? I reckon it might have just clipped him outside the box.
I guess the question you ask then is whether or not that contact continues into the box as well, but the Burgers, Heidelberg United, will take it regardless. There is no VAR to take it away from them. And it is the moment that allowed Josh Pinn to put them ahead from the penalty spot. Could they double their advantage? Idara. Nior giving close company. Sabit Nior into the middle. A fraction past the feet of Idara, but it is Heidelberg United sitting pretty as we head to the break. It is the NPL Victoria outfit who lead the A-League's champions. They are 1-0 up against the treble winners, and that man, Josh Pinn, is the person they have to thank. It was a penalty that he took right before the halftime interval, to which Adam Pavlicic got a touch, but he could not stop it from finding its way into the back of the net and setting us up for a massive second half in which Central Coast Mariners will look to avoid a cup set. All to play for in the second half, but here, after 45 minutes played at Olympic Village, it's Heidelberg United 1, Central Coast Mariners 0.
Yep, Pinn with the pen. It gives Heidelberg United that 1-0 edge. They've got some momentum going their way as well. We'll be back with the halftime show to talk about this one and the other two games in action. We've seen a couple of goals in those as well. Halftime show coming your way right after this.
I'm doing the miles.
Down to Sydney once a week.
Well, a spot in the round of 16 in the Australia Cup is up for grabs, and we have a cup set on the cards, that is for sure. Heidelberg United, they take a 1-0 lead into this one. Second half to play. These burgers, though, they want the lot. You see what I did there, guys? Burgers with the lot? Yeah, great gag, hey. What did you make, though, of that first half? Because, unlike my jokes, that was highly entertaining, wasn't it? I mean, Central Coast started so well, but the burgers, man, they came back in a big way.
Well, they did. First 10, 15 minutes, you thought, OK, the Mariners have settled straight into this game, and they're looking, the new signings. Vijaya was getting involved and heavily involved in everything. And then all of a sudden, they just flicked a switch, and all of a sudden, they were pressing higher. They were getting some success from that press, which I think started to put the Mariners under a little bit of pressure. And they just gained confidence, didn't they? And they started to really open up, cause some problems, and upsets on the cards.
And that high press and the physicality we spoke about before the game is starting to really cause Mariners problems, especially the turnovers in midfield. I know they've got a couple of new signings in there. They're going to get punished, and they have got punished. I think the penalty, fair call, but I think Sabit and Gore having a really good game. Nick Olsen having some really good games out there for Heidelberg, and they've still got good players to come off the bench as well.
Yeah. Well, let's have a look at the big moment. You mentioned that, the pen. Let's have a look from Brian Kaltak here. Now, question marks over whether it was in or out. We'll have a closer look here. Geez, touch and go. Mackie, your thoughts? Fair?
My original thoughts it was outside, but when we see the other angle, I thought he maybe was on the line. But look, it's decisions made. I think that angle shows he's probably just inside, on the line at least. But like Roy and I were saying as it was going along, Brian Kaltak just has to alter his run a little bit. He's tried to skip over his foot, and as Archie said, any striker feels anything like that, you're going down. And you don't have to go down. A little nick in that kind of a motion will take you down. So, good finish. Pavlicic's unlucky not to save it with getting his hands to it, but they've deserved this lead. They created the best chances and they've caused a lot of problems for the Mariners.
Pavlicic, he's had some tough moments as well. I mean, he had a great save too, but he's missing that Danny Vukovic character at the back. I mean, massive shoes to fill there, but he's the one who's usually ordering them around, getting them in their right positions that they need to be, barking orders. He's going to take a while to fill into that role, isn't it?
There's been a few communication issues, back passes, communication, talking with Kaltak. You can tell that's going to take a while to build up. He had that naturally with Vukovic. They won 3 comps last year. They knew each other's game inside out. It's going to take a while. But from a goalkeeper standpoint, his shot stopping's been good in that regard. But as a team dynamic, he needs to improve with his back four. OK,
let's have a look at some of the chances that we have seen so far. And, Macca, as you mentioned, Vitor Vajau, he really kind of got his opportunity. I didn't think we'd see him this early, in the season. They've only just signed him, but, geez, he hasn't been afraid to pull the trigger, and he's been highly involved. What have you made of him so far?
Well, it's positive signs straight away. Sometimes it takes a little while for players to get into the groove of it, and a new country, new team, don't speak the language as well as maybe, but he's been around. He's been causing some problems, and look, he looks like a signing that maybe another good one that they've found, another diamond, but this was where I sort of think that they started to find that the joy Heidelberg is that the pressure, under pressure, putting the Mariners who are, a little bit ring rusty, under pressure on the ball, and they caused a little bit of problem.
How difficult is it, Roy, in this situation Mark Jackson spoke to Zappers at the start of the game and said, this is a bit foreign. We're playing, a cup game, and we're only a month or so into the pre-season. So it is tricky trying to find those combinations. And obviously, Heidelberg, they're well and truly into their competition this year, right at the back end. So
when you sell half your team every season and have to rebuild, this is the problem you're going to have early in the season. But Heidelberg are punishing their mistakes every counter-attack. They look dangerous. Mariners really, in the last 20 minutes of that game, they weren't really a threat, I must say.
What would you say the message would be from Jackson in this second half? And will we see changes, you think, early, just to get some fresh legs out there?
I just think he'll want them to be a little bit more, a little braver and a little bit more decisive and quicker in their play. They're caving to the pressure, and it's like we saw where Pavlicic got pressed down. It's just because he was taking too long. make your decision, play your pass, back your teammates. They'll bounce and get out of problems, and just be more aggressive in those areas.
OK, let's bring you some highlights from the other game tonight. We've seen 2 goals in this one. It is the Spirit taking on the Glenorchy Knights. This is their first time in the round of 32. The team from Tasmania. Now, the Spirit had so much pressure. We saw the possession as well, something like 70% possession. And it just told in the end, didn't it? I mean, it was going to. The cracks appeared, boom, in the back of the net. This is a team that you know quite well. You've won against them, Roy. You've lost against them as well. That's why they're at this stage tonight. But, I mean, just...
But that's what they're good at. Their build-up play, really good. Their build-up play down the left-hand side here was very good. Richie Darko got the initial touch there at the front post, and Conistablo at the back stick, doing what any good attacker does and follows in. Same here on the counter-attack. The build-up play was really good. Chidiac waited for Darko to make the run. Lovely little ball on the inside, and a great finish by Darko. And really 2-0 doesn't do the amount of possession and you know, really good work that Spirit have had in the game. Any justice.
You can see the puffs of smoke coming out of the mouths too of these guys. Now, Arctic Circle, we've been talking about this, and Andy Harper has well and truly said there, yep, now I know why it is called the Arctic Circle. It's fresh there, Macca. You know it firsthand. Yeah,
I've been there in the middle of winter in the night time too, and I'll concur. It is very cold up there, but Spirit have dominated this game, and it hasn't translated into too many more shots on goal, but look, they have really controlled the game, and I would guess to say that they would run away with this in the second half.
Yeah, you'd think so. All right, let's have a look at our third game from this one tonight. And we are going to Queensland, and this is a clash against, it's Olympic up against Apia Leichhardt. Now, from what we have seen so far in this clash, I mean, are we watching football? Are we watching rugby league? Rugby
State of origin.
It is a state v state battle, if you put it that way. But yeah, this one has been a complete arm wrestle. We haven't seen a goal, but we have seen plenty of contact. I mean, this is just a grudge match, isn't it?
Unbelievable. It's Queensland versus New South Wales at its very finest. Every time I look at that screen, it's just people everywhere. But the referee is enjoying it as well. It's only been 3 yellow cards, there have been 150 tackles. It's terrific, a proper game of football.
OK, so this is number 7 in the Queensland comp up against number 3 in Apia Leichhardt in Sydney. Second half, once they get this argy-bargy out of the way, if they do get it out of their system, Macca, surely you'd expect the visitors to go on with this, wouldn't you? I mean, 0-0 at this stage, or is this anyone's from what we're seeing?
Well, when you look right across the board on the stats on this one, it's almost level pegging the whole way across.
Yeah.
Both teams have had opportunities. Both teams have been very aggressive in their style of play. And I think it could be the odd goal that separates this one. It's just a matter of who is going to get that.
All right, well, let's have a look at the stats page because it is about to come up. No, we're going to see a couple more. Well, there's a decent one into the side netting, but yeah, like I said, some decent tackles, state of origin style, and we saw the intensity in that game. Will it continue in this one? Yeah, here are the stats with Olympic FC, Zippo, Apia Leichhardt, but shots at goal, 6-7. It is pretty tight. Final third entries, possessions pretty much 50-50 as well. Passes made and some decent tackles made as well, guys. I mean, this is an arm wrestle that could go all the way.
Half time. This is unbelievable. This is like a 1970s game. Brilliant.
What kind of tackles? That's the one, the big up and under, the bone rattlers. All right, let's get to our boys at Olympic Village, Archie Thompson and, of course, Michael Zapponi. Have you had your Savlaki, guys? And I've got to say, the Burgers, they've got to be up, right? What a way to go into half-time.
Yes is the answer to the first question, and yes, they're very happy here at Heidelberg. Fantastic performance, Archie, especially after that 15-minute mark. They played some great football. We've seen Melbourne NPL teams knock off 2 A-League teams so far, but I think this has been the most impressive performance so far. I know we're only halfway in, but the type of football they're playing is very good to watch.
Yeah, especially in that attacking third, and especially out in these wide areas. Sabit Nior, his quick feet, he's taking on players, he's trying to set up. That penalty shout we just had here too. So Central Coast have a lot to do in this second half.
It looks like they will make a change as well. Ryan Edmondson, it looks like he'll come on. We're not sure who's coming off yet, but the goal-scoring hero for them at the grand final. So Mark Jackson's seen something and he wants to make a change.
Yeah, well, look, they're getting into those wide areas, and it's about that delivery. And also, too, I think Edmondson just adds that bit of presence and height. We see how good he is in the air, and he makes an impact. We saw it in the grand final where he scored 2 goals, and they need something because they're getting in those positions. They just need a striker to put it away.
All right, so should be fascinating end to this one, gents.
Cannot wait for it. Thank you, fellas. You better get off the ground because we're about to go and play that second half of football. Let's get to our commentator now, Lockie, who's going to take us away for the second half. The Central Coast Mariners, the treble winners from last year, they do have some work to do, trailing 1-0, and it's the Burgers on the verge of another cup set. What will we see? Second half coming your way.
Well, do you remember your Australia Cup history? The 10-year anniversary of the tournament, but only once in that decade stretch has the reigning champion been ousted at the round of 32 stage by NPL opposition. The 3rd of August 2016, when Redlands dumped Adelaide United out of the cup. That is the feat that Heidelberg United are hoping to repeat tonight as they take a 1-0 lead into the second half against the reigning champions, the treble winners, Central Coast Mariners, who have acted quickly at half-time to make a substitution. You just saw Ryan Edmondson getting ready to make his way onto the field and will look to trouble that Burgers lineup, who are currently huddled. It will be the Englishman who has form for delivering massive impact off the bench, who enters in place of Vitor Fugeo, whose Mariners debut comes to an end at the 45-minute mark. But we cannot forget the contributions of this man in the grand final for the Mariners, the Joe Marston medalist. He came on at halftime in that game too. He ended up with 2 goals and a championship winner's medal around his neck at the full-time whistle. Johnny Anastasiadis will be hoping to nullify his influence and lead the Burgers to their second cup set in history. It would be his second victory against an A-League's opponent in 14 games in charge of an NPL side in the Australia Cup, as we have a bit of sorting out to do on the net. Andrew Memorakis just making sure the goal that Heidelberg United will be attacking in the second half is all in order, and it will be a net which the Mariners will look to avoid rippling. It's not just about keeping Heidelberg out in this game, it's about getting back into it and getting on the scoreboard, and they have 45 minutes in which to do it. Archie Thompson, can they do it? That's the question.
Yeah, they can. I feel like, you know, we've seen with Central Coast Mariners when they've been down a goal, they're still being patient. They don't force things. Mark Jackson's got a really level head on him when it comes to managing. And, you know, there's still a lot of football to be played. It's about starting this half like they did the last one, and with the presence of Edmondson in that 18-yard box, you've got someone with a bit of height, so if they can get out in these wide areas and deliver good quality, you know, they create chances.
Well, if there is any side in the A-Leagues that you never pronounce dead, it is the Mariners. Looked as though their fairy tale might be coming to an end against victory. But the likes of Ryan Edmondson and Mikel DePizio had very different ideas. We all know how that ended up. Even when the Crows are circling ahead, the Central Coast Mariners are still alive.
Yeah, thanks, Lockie, for reminding all us victory fans about that night. Pretty much the last kick of the game. I don't think they had a shot on target, but this Central Coast team, they just don't know when to sit down.
They are made of special stuff. They will need to produce it to secure a turnaround against Heidelberg United. They've never gone to even extra time against an NPL outfit. They've been knocked out by a Victorian side before. Another infamous cup set in 2016. Liam Boland for Green Gully in the final minutes. One of the all-time, perhaps the definitive Australia Cup goal, Archie.
Oh, mate, that was incredible. I remember watching that a few times. Well, wishing that I could hit a ball that far and into a goal, but just amazing.
They'll be hoping for cup magic of their own, the Mariners, in the second stanza. Bad tap.
And I think this is where Heidelberg just need to be a little bit careful in how deep they sit and just allowing Central Coast to just pass the ball around and ease their way into this attacking third.
Paul has gotten on the march. Moragas. McCalmont. Asked the question early. Quoll rises and heads on goal, but making the conviction to really trouble the one-time A-Leagues champion with the Mariners, Yaron Souza. It's a very pleasing ball, though, from Alfie McCalmont.
And how many times have we seen Quoll in those sort of positions when the ball's just lofted in? He just attacks it. He's so great in the air. He's got a great leap on him.
It's great to see him back in Victoria. When he, of course, got his start in football with the Goulburn Valley Suns. Moragas marauding down the left-hand side. Great covering work by Sabit Noor. And the Mariners will get the first corner of the second half after 3 minutes played.
Yes, Sabit Noor has been excellent this game. Not just in an attacking sense, but the way he got back there. This is where Heidelberg, every single player, okay, you've got to think attacking, but defensively, everyone needs to do their job.
Interesting to see Kane Shepherd, who is a excellent Australia Cup goal scorer, warming up for Heidelberg United. Take their corner short again to the Mariners. Moragas. Take two. The corner. Adrian Zara, the man who committed to the cause.
See what they were trying to do there. You might have thought he had a little foul, but really hard. That needed to be a delicate ball to run the line there.
It's combined well with Mikel Docker so far, but this time the corner will go direct from Moragas. It's allowed to bounce. Couldn't be brought down, and the Burgers might be away. Jamal Ali, a searching ball for Nicholas Olsen. The foot race is on as the Heidelberg players materialise. Olsen looking to curl it. And Pavlicic watches it into his arms. Those are maybe the kind of opportunities we're going to see start to open up for Heidelberg United as the Mariners really look now to force the issue.
Yeah, Olsen, you can see he went onto his favourite left foot. We were right behind that, actually, when he hit that ball. I thought it was going top corner, but Pavlicic just seemed to pluck it out of the air quite easily. But I love the run that he got back to Olsen, because the ball got played over his head. And his second thought was, OK, where do I get back into my defensive block?
You weren't seeing things, Arch. From our vantage point, it really did look like it was sailing for the top corner, only for Adam Pavlicic to just pluck it out of the night sky with ease. It was brilliant running from Jamal Ali to play in Olsen, and you can see it here. It just, if anything, curled too much. It looked great at the first instance, but in the end it was easy pickings for Pavlicic.
I think he was almost anticipating it. That was where the ball was going to go.
Well, we were watching that replay. Heidelberg United have turned to the bench. Interesting to see that Asahi Yokokawa's day comes to an end, but it comes to an end with good reason. Kane Shepherd is onto the field. A high-quality player. He's formerly played in the A-League 35 times with the likes of Western United and the Jets. Scored against the Mariners in an F3 derby, a winner in a 1-0 game for the Jets. And he has scored in each of his last 3 cup games. In the national rounds, he scored at every stage for Heidelberg in their run to the quarterfinal last year. Hoping that he can deliver similar for them this evening. The 30-year-old, who is Heidelberg's second all-time top scorer, behind Gary Cole.
Gary Cole, yes, that's a name that you know, I'm very familiar with my time at Melbourne Victory. Such a great striker.
And Kane Shepherd isn't half bad either. Hoping to make his impact tonight.
I just wondered with that substitution, Yokokawa did have that knee heavily strapped. Didn't look too happy to be coming off.
Moragas onto the right, a fizzing ball, which is going to drop at the back post, deflected and in. The champions answer back early into the second half. And it is Mikel Docker, with the aid of a deflection, who picks up where he left off in the previous season.
Come on! Come on!
A silencing to the crowd and an equalising goal for the reigning champions.
Yeah, well, it was kind of a nothing ball. The header wasn't cleared properly. It deflected out to the back post, but it was a really neat little touch here. He was shaping up for his right, then pulled it back onto his left. And unfortunately for Heidelberg, it takes a wicked deflection. And just through the legs. Not too much the keeper could do about that. Really disappointing for Heidelberg to concede so early into this second half. Which, if you don't clear your lines and don't get a good purchase on that clearance, that's what happens.
They break back the other way swiftly, though. It is Olsen in the middle for Shepherd. His first touch since coming off the bench. It's probably not the time you want to be taking your first touch when you have a massive chance to retake the lead. That is the threat in front of goal that Kane Shepherd will bring. So have another look at the goal. Really all the work was done in that feint, right? To open up the space, and then happy to take the fortuitous touch off the inside of Aiden Fedahadjic's leg.
Yeah, it was such a quick touch. I mean, he is a right-footed. You think that he would shape up to hit that, but that just shows his quality.
DePizio. And Calmont's in the centre circle. A beautiful, beautiful pass. And in turn for Qual from Docker. Flipped in behind. Moragas in the middle. Edmondson didn't get the touch. Souza first to the scene of the crime. They are flexing their muscles now, this Mariners outfit.
They certainly are, and Docker is picking up some really great positions there. He was almost looking back for the 1-2 from Qual. Edmondson almost got in front of his defender just to get a touch into that near post, but like you said, they are starting to flex. And it really started with Alfie Clamont with that ball quickly moved from that midfield into the Docker.
Docker has positionally replaced Vitor Figueiredo on the right-hand side, but that's part of the reason he's such a threat, Mikel Docker. Whether you pop him on the left or on the right-hand side, he's gifted with both feet. If you put him on the right, he can cut inside and shoot, and it's exactly how the Mariners have gotten level. They swiftly regain the lead. And Calmont, trouble. Ben Collins at 6s and 7s with Aiden Fedahadjic. That would have been a calamitous way to cough up their level ground in this game.
Yeah, they need to just start the switch on a little bit better. And that's back third.
Lovely work again from Muir. One game in the Australia Cup for Western United, and he's playing tonight with a point to prove. Over the top for Nicholas Olsen, who elected against the cutback for Shepherd this time. Went for the shot direct, and the rebound dropped into the lap of Mikel Docker. Rue now for Central Coast. His touch was a laboured one. Idara, and now Pin. Spots the run of Nick Olsen, who's proving a handful on the left. It's Kane Shepherd for Heidelberg United. Olsen can't make it into the middle and take a throw.
It's a beautiful ball out to the Olsen. I just thought that Kane Shepherd needed to be a little bit quicker with the ball movement there. Give it out wide again. Olsen deliver, because they had numbers in the back post there for Heidelberg.
Is that the sign that they have regained their composure after copping a goal in this second half? I guess only time will tell. Fedahadjic, fifth year at the Burgers, and a great intention on the ball for Pin, who is fast but not that quick.
Yeah, and when you're in a foot race with Caltech, 9 times out of 10, you lose that race.
He's unbelievably quick, Brian Kaltak. Top speed of over 37 kilometres he was clocked at in the A-League last season, which is just insane.
My car doesn't go that fast.
Need to get your car checked, Archie. Moragas looking with intent, driving towards the byline and crossing it in, but away by Ben Collins. Nathan Paul filling in for the departed Dan Hall in the centre of defence, as he made his way to the A-League's newest side, Auckland FC. Not featuring in the Cup this year, but won't be long before we get to see them in the Isuzu Ute A-League. Mikael Docker is the recipient of some Bronx cheers from the Olympic Village grandstand. It was a pretty clear handball.
Yeah, it's funny how when you're an opposition player and something like that happens, the fans let you know about it.
Over the head of Shepherd, Paul read it like a book, and McCalmont scans the field. Rue forced to retreat, but only momentarily. Kaltak approaching the hour mark at Olympic Village. Level pegging, a goal apiece. Mikael Docker the reason why. In the second half. Feeds the run of Rue. There are numbers to aim at. None of them found. Side-footed away.
And we've got another goal at Christie Park. It is the Spirit running away with this one over Glenorchy. Here it is.
Run it down here. And now with a shake of the hips and a jink into the box, it's Sugita through the traffic. It goes in for the tap-in at the far post. It's 3. A check of the linesman is good. Cianci scores.
Yep, 3-0. A bit of a horn in the background. And let's get going back to Burger's home ground.
Edmondson, and the idea was right, the execution was off, and so too was the run. The linesman's flag going up on the far side despite the wag of the finger from the Englishman.
You can see again it was that ball from Kaltak. Great run off the shoulder from Edmondson. I like what he tried to do there, take it first time. Always going to be difficult when the ball's coming from so far to judge that right.
Launched forward by Yaron Souza. Docker tracking back to gobble up the second ball. Pavlicic. Siotis has been a real calming influence for the Burgers in possession, but Idara with a blind turn. Easy pickings for the Mariners. All of a sudden there is a tension-filled air at Olympic Village. Just sense that the Mariners have got Heidelberg hemmed in at the moment.
Yeah, there's such a big gap from the defence to the attack. And you can see where Heidelberg tried to get on that ball in the midfield. They haven't really got an outlet, so they just seem to be staying high, not really making a run to get the ball out of this defence. A bit static in that attacking line.
Legal use of the body from Quoll, but it doesn't produce retention of possession for Central Coast. Mark Jackson has already made one substitution off the bench, bringing on Ryan Edmondson. You suspect that we'll see more in the final 30 minutes from both sides. And he's on the Burgers bench, where the presence of Heidelberg United great Sean Ellis looms large. And Sabit Noor has barely put a foot wrong all evening. And that's really his first errant touch, but I think he was due one the way he started this game.
Yeah, he was. If anything, that was probably an easier one to kind of take on your stride, turn and look to go forward. But need to see him more on the ball, a bit more of an influence on this second half.
Idara, that's better from Noor. That's really much better from Noor. Another dazzling run to the path of Nicholas Olsen, who looks to cut inside. Nick Olsen chested away by Brian Kaltak. Zara.
He's just so beautiful to watch when he gets the ball. Just seems to glide past defenders.
It's an effortless dribbling style, isn't it?
It's fantastic. You either don't know if he's going to go on the outside or go in. And, you know, if you're a wide player, that's such a great tool to have.
Oh, another lovely moment from Sabit Nyor. And around McCalmont, he is putting on a show, the youngster, but the cross, a fraction heavy. Not a lost cause, though, for Heidelberg. Adrian Zara and Olsen look to pick a gap in what last season was a rock-solid Mariners defence. 12 clean sheets in the regular season of the Isuzu Youth A-League. They might have one to call on this evening. That doesn't mean they won't be tricky to breach. There's a high-risk ball for Lesiotis. He made it work. The touch and the turn from Idara was dazzling. And he sold a dream to Alfie McCalmont, who was forced into the foul.
Yeah, it was a great turn. You can see just Alfie McCalmont was just a little bit slow. We see on the replay. Great. There looks to play the wide player and beautiful cut back in.
It's the kind of pivot you could watch every day. Shepherd to Zara. Olsen takes the ball in stride and turned his way into trouble. There were white shirts converging from every direction. Qual. Oh, Zara, what a touch. And he's had many special moments in the yellow and black of Heidelberg. And that was another showing of quality.
Yeah, that ball was going at some pace. So just plucked out there effortlessly.
We've seen NPL sides defend doggedly and win in years of the Cup gone by, but I was listening to you and Michael Zapponi talk during the halftime show. It feels like a bit of a different display this. Heidelberg are really showing their mettle, not just defending, but in possession, and the actual technical quality they've got on display is not always what you see from the NPL outfit.
No, look, I feel like as far as this Australia Cup goes, the bridge, the gap seems to be getting a little bit closer in terms of the quality of football from NPL level, state level to A-League level. I mean, you got to think about the A-Leagues. It's a professional outfit. They train basically every day. But technically, there's a lot of gifted players throughout Australia in these lower leagues.
So fitness is the big difference. The Burgers in the prime of their season. They'll be hoping that those extra legs will help them out. Michael DiPizio having a bit of a quarrel with Alex King here. You can see the point that the referee was making. Just didn't like where the leg was leading, the way the studs were potentially showing a little bit.
Yeah, I think Alex King had this right. It looked like he was just going up with the studs up. No malice in it. You could see he was trying to win the ball, but you go to the challenge with your feet up. Very, very dangerous. We've seen it so many times throughout the A-League season where players have been sent off going in with studs up.
Mark Jackson will turn to his bench again. And it is a welcome return for young Sasha Kusevsky, 23-year-old who missed the entirety of the treble season. An ACL injury. Take another look at solid strike from Mikhail Docker that has the Mariners level with the aid of a deflection. And now Sasha Kusevsky will come on in his place. Shepherd across for Olsen, outside of the foot, cross, won't reach Nyor. Ali kept it alive. Shepherd, fast feet, Kane Shepherd, still alive for Heidelberg, but lumped clear by Storm Root. Great to see Sasha Kusevsky back out on the field after dastardly ACL injury. Pin. In search of Idara. And despite his best efforts, can't make anything happen of that ball for Heidelberg.
Yeah, great strength from Moragas. It was, you know, with, I guess, Central Coast starting their pre-season, 60 minutes is usually sort of the number that, you know, your more experienced players.
They were nearly caught out here, but Kane Shepherd flagged offside.
Yeah, and, you know, you try to put your experienced players or the players that you're going to be seeing a lot of in cotton wool. And, you know, you kind of think, well, you're 1-1. Would you like to keep those players on a little bit longer? But that just shows the, I guess, in his squad, like he's able to go to his bench. He's confident in the depth that he has. Mark Jackson.
And they certainly trust in their youth talents at the Mariners. That is not under any doubt. Kusevski is a long-time Mariners Academy boy, a boyhood fan of the club as well. Making his return, his first appearance in 516 days for the Mariners. It's been a long road back. It's over the head of Paul. Not of Moragas. And the second ball fell to a combination of Nyor and Idara. He is such a hard worker in the centre circle, the Senegalese midfielder.
Yeah, and it's gone a little bit scrappy at the moment, this game of football, in the last sort of 5 minutes.
Idara evades one and then two, but ran out of real estate. Much to the disappointment of John Anastasiadis on the sideline. His last win against the A-League side was back in 2018, almost exactly a year ago. You can see, though, the Mariners, despite being level, have taken advantage of the possession, as you would expect of the A-League side, Archie.
Yeah, and definitely with Central Coast Mariners, they're a team that really do like to keep possession, have a really, you know, a slow build-up. And like I said, when they do want to flick through the gears, they've got that capability of doing it.
One to chase again for Josh Pinn, and he has latched onto it as well. The Queenslander, Nyor, refused to give up on what seemed a lost cause. Beautiful work, Sabine Nyor. It took a touch, a corner for Heidelberg.
I'll tell you what, he's just amazing to watch in tight areas. You just, for all money, think that the defender's going to get there, but just that quick slide of feet. Just couldn't seem to get that ball down, but it was a deflection. Great opportunity for Heidelberg to get a good delivery.
Outside of his one appearance for Western United in the Australia Cup, he never got a chance at A-League level. Maybe prompting some coaches to reconsider off the back of this performance. The corner in for the Burgers. Collins was close by. Nyor keeps it alive. Fedahajic. 1-2 with Ali. Get their numbers forward here, have Heidelberg. It's an emphatic header from Brian Kaltak. Physio sets a bit of a task for Nathan Paul, one to which he is equal. Edmondson, great work to retrieve it. Not once, but then twice. Kusevski. Back to Roux. Feels like this is still anyone's game at Olympic Village. McCalmont.
You can feel it's quite.
It does.
It feels very intense here at the moment.
For the most part of the evening, it's been the souvlaki smoke in the air, but right now it is palpable tension on Catalina Street. Can the Mariners create an even more deafening silence at Olympic Village with a go-ahead goal? Kosevsky. Nathan Paul. And try again on the left through Lucas Moragas. Moragas, a great cross, and down goes Ben Collins. No whistle from Alex King. DePizio with a second crack, and it drops into a nice area. McCalmont, and now Edmondson. Neither could get a convincing shot away. And the Burgers are out through pin. Muir had to leave it. And Idara kept it alive. Is this where we start to see the pendulum swing back in favour of the NPL outfit with the extra legs? Well, they might have a slight man advantage here. Muir through to Olsen. The anticipation builds as Nicholas Olsen can't find a teammate on the first instance, neither on the second. And Nathan Paul just has to get it out into touch.
Again, it was Brian Kautak back there. He's so good on one-on-one defending. And Olsen just couldn't seem to get around him. It was a great break from Heidelberg. Again, from that man, Muir, just so silky on the ball.
Jamal Ali, he's a former Mariners youth player. He's reunited with one of his ex-teammates. Tonight he played alongside the likes of Lewis Miller, Dan Hall, Joe Gauci, and the returning Sasha Kosevsky. Back in the New South Wales NPL leagues in 2018. Haven't seen too many players cross the Heidelberg Mariners divide over the years. Yaron Souza, Dan Heffernan, one of the only others. Idara is the man on the march. Mohamed Idara down under a firm but fair challenge. But it is Heidelberg who are quickest to the second ball. Have they timed their run to perfection here, the NPL Victoria outfit? Idara couldn't find clean passage to Olsen, and Qual will carry it in the opposite direction. Oh, it's a beautiful ball as well for DePizio. But his touch was a heavy one, and so too was the follow-through on Ben Collins.
This is where the heavy legs, I think, are starting to show for Central Coast Mariners. Qual did so well to spot that run. And again, just that heavy touch. Leaves a foot in. That's a tired challenge. I feel like if he had a better touch there, it was 2v2. Edmondson actually pulled to the back post.
Those are the kind of touches you will see in the final knockings. I spoke to Mark Jackson in the lead up to this game. He said he was happy with where they were at, fitness-wise and tactically, but they were not at 100%. Maybe Heidelberg will be hoping to take advantage. Muir. Still going, Sabit Muir. He's been such a handful for this Mariners defence. Support found in the form of Jamal Ali. And now Idara. Muir lifts it into the box. And it sits nearly for Shepherd. Olsen will have another crack for Heidelberg. Into the middle it goes. Idara is there. It drops in the centre circle for Pin. All right on the penalty spot. He couldn't turn it goalwards. It's not going to be a second goal for the Burgers front man. It really does seem, Archie, perhaps the extra fitness is starting to play its part.
You could see there that ball in that 18-yard box. It wasn't really cleared well by the Central Coast player. It was headed straight back down. Unfortunately for Josh Penny, just couldn't get it at his feet.
Great run from Vasiotis. Couldn't find Sabit Muir. And solid work from Edmondson on the first instance, but the pass that DePizio left wanting. You can see picture in picture that snapshot from Pin. It was a great block. The Mariners were 2 lines deep in their own penalty box there, trying to keep Heidelberg at bay. Muir is given room to work with. The early cross diverted by Kautak, but only as far as Mohamed Idara. Senegalese midfielder has not stopped running since kickoff. The best infield Victoria. That was a poor touch from Muir. Edmondson inside for Qual, who is round Zara, and this might be the chance for the Mariners. Edmondson with Kosevsky in support, but it's just past his heels. Don't put the line through it just yet. Rue. Bailey Brantman is getting set to come on. Perhaps in place, we would imagine, for Miguel DiPizio. Might be his last touch of the football. As the Mariners continue to change the locus of their attack. Storm Rue. And Kosevsky wide. Back with Rue, who sets his sights for the penalty area. Up but not away by Feda Hadjic. And it is a corner for the Mariners. A slightly cheaply conceded one for the hosts. And it will allow the Mariners to make the substitution that we preempted up here in the comms box. Archie, Bailey Brantman is going to come on in place of Miguel DiPizio, who, as you said before, was probably making the kind of challenges that suggested that he'd run out of steam.
Yeah, well, it was a heavy touch that he took that I could see the signs of him tiring there and lifting a bit of a lazy foot.
Chance for Bailey Brantman, the 19-year-old 6'2" striker, to get his first Mariners goal. This would be some time to get it as they look to pull off the escape. Kosevsky's corner, flat, flicked on by Brantman, and Souza was scrambling for a moment. But it is out of play harmlessly for a goal kick in the end.
Well, that would have been a great introduction there with a beautiful flick.
Jamal Ali with the ball at feet. 1,927 people in the house at Olympic Village. I imagine a great many of that number will be in raptures if the Burgers can come away from this game with a win. We are only 11 minutes away from the possibility of extra time. It would be the first time that the Mariners have been forced into an extra 30 minutes against an NPL outfit. Every single, I don't want to scare you, Archie, but every single one of the extra time periods that the Mariners have played in the Australia Cup, one against Brisbane, two against Sydney FC in the last 2 years, all of them have gone to penalties.
Well, there we go. We better strap ourselves in, mate.
Well, the Mariners have something to say about it, but Edmondson kicks out in frustration because he knows what a big chance that really was. It was a delightful delivery from Lucas Moragas. And Edmondson found the finishing touch wanting.
Well, this is why they brought him over from the Newcastle Jets. It's electric pace, but that delivery was right in the path of Edmondson. Just needed to guide it onto goal.
Oh, lovely touch from Brantman, and now it's the chance for Qual. Brilliant work by Yaron Souza, who stands tall against his former club. It is two chances in the blink of an eye for the Mariners to take the lead. There's a nice touch from Brantman.
Oh, beautiful goalkeeping.
It's fine, fine margins. The outstretched, trailing leg that catches it.
Yeah, in those sort of situations, for a goalkeeper, you want to make yourself as big as possible. And just kind of hope that the striker hits it into any part of those that, are dangling about. But Qual did so well to get into a good area. He just opted to go for a bit more power than placement. But a huge save, especially coming the back end of this match.
And the issue, though, with this brilliant chance for Alu Qual, well saved by Yaron Souza, is that it has come at some personal cost for the substitute who has only just made his way onto the field in Bailey Brantman, and he looks to be in some serious discomfort on the turf. I hope this is nothing serious. It would be a real shame for the 19-year-old Mariners talent. He's still getting treatment from the physio. And he's at least back onto his feet, so that's a promising sign.
Don't know if it might have been just a little bit of a late challenge there. You can see maybe he just stepped on his foot. The defender, never great when it's cold, especially when he's just come on.
The body language is not ideal, still limping and casting a glance towards the bench. Whether or not there was a thumbs up in there that we might have missed, maybe that's the crucial sign, but you can see he is still moving with some serious discomfort. It'll wash away quickly if the Mariners score from the corner, which will be taken by Sasha Kusevski. The white shirts are amassed at the back post, met by a wall of yellow Warriors defenders. The corner taken short. McCalmont looking to bend it into the box, and Quoll nearly came up with a telling touch to send the Mariners in front.
Well, I don't know if he's actually taking the chance off Nathan Paul there. It was a beautiful ball in with some pace. Yeah, so we had every right to go for a Quoll. But Nathan Paul was just probably in a better position to let that come onto his foot.
And a big change made by John Anastasiadis. Sir Beat Nyor, who has probably been the standout player for Heidelberg, his day comes to an end. And did Alu Quoll even get a touch, I think is the question.
Yeah, I think he did. And maybe his body shape.
You always claim them when you're striking.
Yeah, no. As a striker, if you missed that, you didn't touch it.
Yeah, exactly.
But look, I think his body shape, he just couldn't get the purchase that was needed. Too much of a glancing header.
One thing that will be promising, even if it wasn't an accurate touch from Quoll, is the delivery from Alfie McCalmont, their new signing.
Yeah, he's
one of many quality penalty area entries from the four-time Northern Irish international. Kusevski gets it back off a Heidelberg defender. Brantman is back into full stride, which is great to see. They can't find profit further afield. Shepherd telegraphed his pass a little bit. Paul stopped en route by Idara. Quoll has hit the decks in the centre circle. It was a tangle of legs between he and Anthony Lesiotis. The Mariners in no hurry. Do they know that there's 6 minutes left plus stoppage? Well, they'll certainly be feeling it in the legs, that's for sure. Stormaroo. Brian Kaltak. You've been part of many an A-League's pre-season before, Archie. How is the body feeling 84 minutes into one of your first hit-outs?
Yeah, it hurts. It does hurt, but, you know, there's so much at stake. You're in an opportunity to go into the round of 16, really progress into the Cup. And on nights like this, too, like, you really want to play football. I guess when you're starting your pre-season, the more competitive games you play, it takes away from actually the hard work of training. So, you know, I guess it was always great to play these Australian Cups. But, like I said, never good when it comes down to this sort of knowing that possibly it go to extra time.
It's running through the mind of John Anastasiadis now. Is he hoping that his side find another level to kill this in the 90, or is he consigned for holding on to the fate of extra time? I'm sure he'll be hopeful of the former, but accepting of the latter. Is there a late show in regular time on the offer at Olympic Village? Well, last season's stats would suggest that the Mariners are the side who can do it. Scored 9 goals in the 90 onwards last season, more than any other team in the A-League. Of course, a few of those coming in the grand final. Jamal Ali into the lap of Kane Shepherd. Calmont retrieves for the champions. He's got Ali on his shoulder. He'll do well to find a way out here. And he does, and does beautifully. Quol has Kosevsky making the run, and that is where the ball travels. Sasha Kosevsky, on his Mariners return, is driving towards goal and winning a corner for the visitors.
Yeah, great work from Quol there. I mean, he was tightly marked and was able to get a ball away. And Kosevsky had options there. I think Edmondson, if he had played that ball across, but he looked to take his defender on, wins himself a corner.
So Kosevsky, whose hard work won the corner, takes the corner. Edmondson was nearby, so too. Another player in the middle, Bradley Tapp. Soared through the air, but couldn't do much. But this was a promising sign for a returning Sasha Kosevsky, who's still coming up to full fitness after the ACL injury. He's had a bright start on that right-hand side since coming on.
Yeah, it's never easy coming back from an ACL. I did mine in my career, and, you know, it's about just getting the minutes, but also, too, when you get your first challenge, first sort of meaningful challenge, and how you cope with that.
Edmondson locked in a physical battle with Ben Collins. And that one rides the line from Yaron Souza. Olsen, big questions of handball. Tap. And it stayed in play. And it comes to nothing for Central Coast. Ali through traffic to Idara. Olsen was caught on his haunches. And we are coming up on about a minute of the regulation 90. Will be in the hands of Jonathan Barrero as to how many we get added on before we stare down the barrel of extra time on the final night of the round of 32. Kaltak. The Mariners got more magic at their boots. Can they pull it out of the fire on enemy territory? Or will we need an extra half hour of football at Olympic Village? It's the scene that presents as Sasha Kosevsky feeds Alu Quol, who's really grown into the game. Couldn't get it through a sea of Berger's defenders. Kosevsky to the byline. And winning another corner. He has been a prolific winner of set-piece opportunities for the Mariners since coming on.
Yeah, now it's just about a good quality delivery. And I just think the amount of times they're getting crosses in, just lacking that little bit of quality.
Into stoppage time as the corner comes in. Fedohadjic away. A big up and under ball into the night sky. It's the substitute, Leo Mazic, who contests forlornly. There are numbers available here for Sasha Kosevsky. It's in the middle, away by Jamal Ali. Olsen robbed of it by Brad Tapp, who concedes the throw. It's been hard at work. Brad Tapp in the centre of midfield. 23-year-old for the Mariners, another one of their academy talents. Pin. Can only find Brian Kaltak. Shepherd, the substitute, is trying to chase down any available loose ball. Moragas. Lovely exchange with Alfie McCalmont. That one couldn't pick the gap, but he'll get a second crack. Quol. Back to Rue. And over the top for Quoll. There's certainly been a more brutish encounter this second 45. And Heidelberg will look to end it here, but Mazi couldn't feed the run of Joshua Pin. 2 minutes to go in the 90. All to play for on the final night of the round of 32. Of course, at the end of tonight's games, and whenever this game might end, we'll get the round of 16 quarter-final and semi-final draw all in one. And the Mariners are hoping to book their ticket. The 1-2 with Edmondson is overcooked. And it's out of play for a goal kick as we're into the final 90 seconds of regulation.
Yeah, that was disappointing from Edmondson, especially when Moragas made that great run. Especially when you're coming towards the end of the match, knowing there's extra time. You want to make every run count. But Moragas had to pull out there because there wasn't any bodies in the box.
Aaron Souza to bring us back into play and into the final minute. Would be scenes of jubilation unparalleled. They could do it in the final 60 seconds. Even if they do it in extra time or penalties, I'm sure they will still be up and about. It almost feels now that both sides are resigned to the fact that we've got an extra 30 on the way, Archie.
Yeah, at the moment, no one's really looking to put the foot down.
Oh, could the Burgers make a fool of us? Heidelberg coming forward through Kane Shepherd, but Quoll wins it back swiftly. They're up in arms, the Burgers fans. And they pull it out of the fire, the Mariners. Inside regulation. Paul. One last push, perhaps. No more time, in fact. We are going to extra time at Olympic Village. 30 more minutes of football to come as the treble winners, the reigning champions Central Coast, have been pushed to an extra 30 minutes of football by NPL opposition for the first time in their history. We're entering uncharted territory at Olympic Village as we finish the 90. There's 30 more to come. The end of full time, but there is so much more to be played. Heidelberg United 1, Central Coast Mariners 1.
Yep, they cannot be split at the end of regulation time. Daniel McBreen, Roy O'Donovan alongside me. Geez, you got to say, the Central Coast, Macca, 3 massive chances. They should have put this to bed. Didn't, and now we're going to extra time. What did you think of those opportunities that came their way?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Scotty, that they should have killed off the game. The ball from Moragas for Edmondson was fantastic. A striker of his calibre should put that away. Then Quoll, to be fair, it was a good save as well. I think he should have stuck it away, but it was good goalkeeping. Got out quick, spread himself, but then they got in each other's way, didn't they? Quoll taking the ball off Paul's toe, just as you think he's about to touch it in. So they'll be disappointed they're going to extra time, but they'll look at the positives out of it. It's pre-season and get a few more minutes under the belt.
I was about to say, so nightmare for the players, right, who are in pre-season. I mean, they're sucking in the big ones here. They get this 5-minute break. Who do you think this favours in extra time? Is it the well-tuned Heidelberg, or is it the guys in pre-season?
I do think it still suits the A-League teams. The longer the game goes on, I think the quality and natural fitness comes out. I think I've seen that with the A-League teams as this kind of tournament has progressed, and I think it'll be the same today. I think Mariners come home strong. OK, let's have a look at the goals package then, shall we, from this one so far. And it was Heidelberg who opened the account, and this was because of this challenge from Caltac and Josh Pin. He went to the penalty spot and he had some power behind it. We were questioning whether this was in or outside. Doesn't matter in the end. No VAR, hands in the air. Caltac could have done better, but Pin, geez, some serious power. Pavlicic got a hand to it, but managed to get it in the back of the net, and you thought they had all the momentum. Macca, well taken pen. Gave a bit of juice to it.
Yeah, the power was enough to get it over the line. Probably the direction wasn't as great as he would have liked, but yeah, he got something behind it, and that was enough to put it through the hands of Pavlicic.
Well, they had all the momentum, but then it was the Central Coast who came out here, and it was a man, Docker, who took a while to get going last season, but boy, didn't he hit the ground running and showing his class again. Yes, it went through the legs of the Heidelberg player, but off the right, onto the left. I mean, he's a classy player, isn't he, Roy?
He's a quality player, but Mirage just does very well down here, cuts in on his right-hand side, his weaker side. Docker, a little bit of cleverness, and he forced a mistake from the defender. It was an OG in the end, I think, from the centre-back, but...
well, here we go, right through the legs, wasn't it? Let's have a look. Oh,
there you go. And he's done everything right. He puts his hands behind his back, his body shape in the right position, and the silhouette in the back of the head. He'd be fuming. But Docker, a little bit of quality, and yeah, but again, as we touched on, Mariners had enough chances to finish the game.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's get down to Michael Zapponi's on the sideline for us. What are you hearing there, mate? Have you done some eavesdropping there on the burgers? What's the message into this extra time period?
I have. Yeah, I have. Actually, I'm going to get John Anastasiadis. He's going to be good enough to join us here. John, what was the message there?
Just keep fighting. That's all we have to do. Just got to keep fighting hard, and like we've been doing all game. It's been a good game, and you know, that's all it is. It's another 30 minutes. We've just got to work hard and just do what we're doing. Just play our game, and I'm sure we'll be fine.
And in terms of your legs, how do you feel you're placed against a team that's in their pre-season?
Yeah, look, I mean, you know, obviously they're still in the pre-season, but this is part of their pre-season too, so they're getting some good work out, by the way. But you know, I'm no problem with our fitness, especially in the next 30 minutes.
Thanks for joining us.
No worries.
All right, better than eavesdropping there. We've got Johnny. Insight there. I think they can run this game out, gents. Looks like there'll be a few changes as well. We'll get those for you in a moment. And Alex King, we know he's one of the best referees in the business, but he lost the coin. So poor old Jonathan Barrero was going around looking for a 20-cent coin. We found one. They've tossed the coin. We've decided which way we're going.
How good is that? Who's got a coin on them these days? That is a rare find, isn't it? No one's got one of them in their back pocket. Let's get into the extra time, shall we? Let's keep fighting. That's the message from the coach. Let's get back to Archie and Lockie.
You heard it there from John Anastasiadis. Central Coast Mariners, they've arrived at Olympic Village, and they are certainly getting their money's worth in a pre-season hit-out. More than they bargained for, more football than they bargained for. An extra 30 minutes awaits on Catalina Street, as we were at kick-off level, thanks to goals from Josh Pinn in the first half from the penalty spot, and Mikael Docker in the second with the aid of a deflection. 30 more minutes of football in this NPLV A-League spout, which feels, Archie Thompson, like you could still go in any direction.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to know who has coins. I don't know who has coins, but luckily we found one and we're underway. It's like what John Anastasiadis said, it's about working hard, and it's 30 minutes. Got to grind it out, knowing that Central Coast early in their pre-season, but like you said, they're working hard too. It's a great hit out for both teams. And like I said, we've seen so much happen in Australia Cups in extra time. Can this be another special night for Heidelberg United?
7 years since that fateful 1-0 win against Perth Glory in the round of 32. Kenny Athiu still a pertinent part of Heidelberg United folklore, even after all this time. We saw substitutes at the start of extra time for both sides as well. Diesel Harrington is on in place of Nathan Paul for his Central Coast Mariners debut. Signed across from AGF Aarhus. He's a former youth teammate of one Jing Rees, who's strutting his stuff for Melbourne Victory this season. And the other substitute was for Heidelberg. It was this man on the ball, Jaden Gorman, the former Perth Glory attacker. He's been robbed of possession by Brad Tapp. Eventually, Alex King is going to... He took a bit of time to find his 20-cent piece, and he's taken a bit of time to eventually bring this one to a stoppage after this incident. Saw Jaden Gorman hit the deck.
They're just trying to see if he maybe got a little bit high on the boot there. You can see it was over the top of the ball. It'd be funny if, you know, if there was VAR, because I've seen a lot of those sort of decisions. I know it was a little bit softer and probably not as forceful, But those decisions, when you go over the top of the ball, there is a chance that you're flirting with the danger of being sent off.
Mercifully for the Mariners, not in this competition. Back underway. Half one of extra time. We saw Blacktown City push Adelaide United. Souza sails through the air, spills the ball initially, but makes good on his intent to keep it at the second time of asking. Blacktown and Adelaide, they went to extra time last week. Adelaide eventually emerging victorious. Rue with a unconvincing back pass. It was a good first involvement, though, from Diesel Harrington, who was able to just body Kane Shepherd into getting a touch on the ball and getting it out for a goal kick.
Yeah, he did well to get over to there.
Brad tapped.
So that was a really tight kick from Storm Rue.
Launched long in the direction of Ryan Edmondson. Couldn't really trap the ball. Came through the night air. Certainly taken on a chill at Olympic Village. He's got 2 pairs of socks on, Archie, and he's still cold.
Yeah, it happened last night when I was watching the Melbourne-Serbia game in Modbury. I had frostbite in the fingers, now I've got frostbite in the feet. But it's worth it because it's these Australia Cup nights are always fantastic, and especially when the underdog, you know, gets a victory. And there's probably a lot of Heidelberg fans out there that are hoping that'll be the case. But I just saw Mark Jackson signal to his substitute. We're going to see another change very shortly.
Still got more cards to play off the bench, both sides. They have kept aces up sleeves. John Anastasiadis still has Sean Ellis if he wants to use him on the bench. I think the old Victoria veteran. Legend of Heidelberg United of 9 years now. And a former teammate of you, Archie?
Yes, I remember playing with Sean. I thought he was absolutely amazing.
Do you remember setting him? You mentioned those 2 games you played for the Burgers. One of them a final against South Melbourne. Do you remember setting him up for the opening goal of that game after 30 seconds?
Well, now I do, yes. No, look, I always thought he was a fantastic player. I mean, when we saw Heidelberg burst onto the Australia Cup scene, he was probably one of their electric players out on the left-hand side, and, you know, actually being there and watching him train, very, very silky player. There were talks of him possibly looking to make that step into the A-League.
Should honestly go back and watch the assist, Archie. It was silver service.
Oh, was it? Okay, well, yeah, if I could find that footage. How do you find that? Was it on Facebook?
I'll tell you off air. I'll tell you.
Okay,
we're commentators. We have our own methods. Okay. Here's a substitution, and we were talking about how that touch from Storm Rue earlier looked a little laboured, and indeed it was one of his final ones. Will Wilson, the 22-year-old, onto the field in the second season of a 2-year deal with the Mariners since coming across from Melbourne Victory. He will be hoping for a repeat of his efforts in the Cup in 2021, where he scored a 96-minute extra time winner for Melbourne Victory against Gold Coast Knights. It's been quite a stop-start opening to the first phase of extra time. Jamal Ali is the player in pain on the far side, and I dare say he was having a bit of a swig of the pickle juice along the touchline just to relieve some cramp. And once you start to get past 90, you know that the NPL outfit have fresher legs, but both sides are starting to feel it now.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like, too, with the occasion, that adds a little bit more stress on the body, because you don't want to be that player that makes that mistake or miss that golden opportunity to take your team through. So it's not just a physical fatigue, there's a lot of mental to it too.
Tapped over the top for Wilson. Forced foul of the offside flag.
Wilson still trying to find his feet here at Central Coast Mariners. He didn't play too much football last year. I actually thought that when Melbourne Victory let him go, I thought that was a strange decision.
Only 15 appearances in all competitions for Will Wilson in his first season on the Central Coast. One memorable goal, though, in an F3 derby. Great celebration, too. I'm sure we get a similarly impressive one if he finds himself on the score sheet here. He's got a free kick to work with coming up as Alu Kuol is down under the challenge of Aiden Federhajic.
There's a tough centre-back challenge there. You can see his eyes lit up when he saw that ball become 50-50.
Kaltak to his new central defensive partner in Diesel Harrington. He's a towering defender. The man wearing number 24 for the Mariners. Moragas for Brantman. Heidelberg are really dug in at the moment. The Mariners hoping to pick the gaps. Moragas heads in field. This is really nice work from the youngster McCalmont now. Turned into trouble. Turned away from it. And found Wilson. Kusevski. Kuol. It works out well. The first few touches were dazzling. And now McCalmont with fast feet. 2 deflections into the middle. And a miscommunication. And eventually Heidelberg come up the clearance. Oh, that was calamitous stuff at the back for Heidelberg United. That would have been quite the way to cough up a 2-1 lead to Central Coast. They come again. Wilson, sidewinding delivery off the post and cleared away. Central Coast Mariners a fraction away from taking the lead through Ryan Edmondson, and now Alex King has some sorting out to do. So we have a look at these earlier flashes for the Mariners through McCalmont and Kuol. And it was just a miscommunication between keeper and central defender.
And that's what happens, I guess, when fatigue starts to set in. But it was a beautiful ball from Williams out this wide area. Edmondson did well to get in front of his man.
They came again through Wilson. The substitute's cross was delightful. Edmondson was at full stretch. And then it was Kuol who was carded. It just
came in a little bit late.
Yeah, a bit too hot and heavy as he tried to keep it alive for the Mariners. But Ryan Edmondson, both he and Alu Kuol have laid claim to chances that could have won this game now.
Well, we had to wait a while, but we've finally got a goal. That is at Goodwin Park. Let's have a look at that. It is between Olympic and Apia Leichhardt, the home
Here's
side.
Thompson King. Is this the opportunity for Olympic? Goodwin Park in pandemonium.
They've gone nuts there. 1 goal to the good. Let's see what happens in this part of extra time. Will we get the breakthrough we have been waiting for? Let's get back to our commentators, Archie and Lockie.
The field. That will, I suspect, be a freshening of legs in midfield. Shepherd couldn't control as the ball whizzed along the surface. This game is increasingly, Archie's still got a bit of time to play in this extra time period, as though it might be the Mariners to lose. They've really taken a grip.
Yeah, again, it's just that patience, I think, that Central Coast have in these sort of situations.
There's a poor touch from Lesiotis. Edmondson back to Tap. That's a poor pass, though, from Brad Tap, who throws up the arm in apology. And here is that Heidelberg substitution. Dom Fowler coming onto the field in place of Anthony Lesiotis. As run his socks off this evening. It's his 4th year at Heidelberg United, Dom Fowler. A busy man, a business owner. Outside of his NPL commitments, he runs a business called Oxidate Performance, which works to condition athletes, where his co-worker is Josh Pinn. Keeping it in the club. They come forward through the colleague, Josh Pinn, to his colleague, Dom Fowler.
I might need to get that number, mate. This body needs some work.
I think they cater to players of all careers, yeah, past, present, former, future.
What about the ones that just can't walk?
You'll have to ask Dom Fowler at full time. Aiden Vedajic. Can they find that spark? Can they bring Olympic Village to its feet again? Ali, there are numbers forward this time. Josh Pinn! Pure elation at Olympic Village. Josh Pinn at the double. And he is 17 minutes away from writing his name into Heidelberg United folklore. They looked gassed, they looked done, but they have found a way against the A-League's champions. And the scenes against the fence with the fans say it all, Archie Thompson.
Yes, it was a beautiful ball into the 18-yard box. It actually looked like it took a little deflection, but it was a great first touch. One thing on mine is try to hit it onto target. You can see here, it might have been Caltech. Another little deflection here, but when you get into a position like that, you hit it hard at goal. Anything is possible, and you can see the way that the Heidelberg fans just erupted. They ran to the fence to celebrate. I tell you what, that's 2 goals tonight. We talked about that little drought that he was in, but this will be forgotten if they go on and win this.
Kenny Athiu in 2017, the scorer of the only goal for Heidelberg against A-League opposition. Here's Josh Pinn, the next Burger to find his way into Mariners or into Heidelberg history. That's the question. And they were the recipients of misfortune, Archie, in the equalising goal. There was a little touch from the Burgers' defence off the shot from Mikael Docker. Is that the stroke of fortune breaking back the other way for them?
Yeah, well, you don't have to say so, but it was a great run into the box. Still at 145th minute to make that run. And a great touch, first touch, to get his head down and see where the goal was. Like I said, you hit that hard across the face at the goal. It could take any little deflection. And unfortunately for Central Coast Mariners, it did.
And what now do the Mariners do? I mean, they've still got another, 15 minutes of extra time to come. There is plenty of time. But they were really having this game on their own terms. And all of a sudden, they could be in more trouble. Shepherd, a snapshot that could have sealed it. And it does seal the first period of extra time at Olympic Village. And now Heidelberg are within reach of an Australia Cup upset, an epic cup set this would be. Remember, the reigning champions have only gone out at the round of 32 to an NPL side once in the 10 years of the competition. Not since 2016 have we seen a fate like this, and it is Josh Pinn who is potentially the hero. A rasping drive that took a touch at the near post. A big deflection, Archie. But that is the stroke of luck you need when you are hoping to overcome the might of the Central Coast Mariners.
And we were just talking about, you could hear a pin drop in this stadium. But I tell you what, as soon as that goal hit the back of the net, it just erupted. And I had a little glance down to the Heidelberg bench. And John Anastasiadis was the loudest. He was grabbing everyone. You can see him now. He's just marshalling his troops, telling them now, look, the game's not over. Because we've seen so many times with this Central Coast Mariners, they always seem to find a way. And I'm sure he's in there going, okay, we've got to stick to our structures, be disciplined in our blocks, and hard work. I mean, that was a message on extra time.
He is revving up his side for what is the biggest 15 minutes in his Heidelberg United tenure as coach. The boyhood Heidelberg United fan could make his name even greater at this club. The Mariners with another change. Noah Smith onto the field. He arrives in place of Lucas Moragas. So not necessarily a change for a player who was showing with his performance that he was ready to come off, Archie, but perhaps just a loading thing. And those fullback positions, the way the Mariners have overloaded those areas, perhaps it's a good place to throw on some fresh legs in the form of a returning Noah Smith.
Yeah, it's very important, especially when you look at the height of Edmondson and Quoll in that 18-yard box. You want to be able to have fresh legs out in these wide areas that can deliver. And Moragas has done a lot of running, and like you said, it's about, for these A-League teams, is monitoring the workload. Because, like you said, I know there's a little bit of time before the A-League start, but you don't want your players to be breaking down before then.
Well, strap yourselves in, Archie and everyone at home. 15 minutes stand between the all-conquering Central Coast Mariners and a third successive exit at the round of 32 in the national stage of the Australia Cup. And moreover, a monumental win for Heidelberg United. We know, though, that the lead for the NPL outfit does not count out the Mariners one bit. They will not feel safe at 2-1 Heidelberg until the full-time whistle sounds.
Yeah, definitely not. And you can see there, Kane Shepherd need to make that challenge because that Central Coast player was off. But yeah, look, there is a never say die attitude with this Central Coast Mariners team, and there's still a lot of football to be played.
Kosevsky overhit. Their last extra time period, Central Coast Mariners, that won them a championship. And this one, they are fighting to pull off what would be a great escape in Victoria. Will it be the second time they are trounced by NPL opposition in this state? Heidelberg pull off their second cup set in the history of the club. A proud history, the two-time NSL Cup winners.
I just actually saw Josh Pinn signal to the bench that he's tired, he's gassed. There might be a substitution, but way to go out if he is going off. 2 goals.
Searching ball for Will Wilson. That was a laboured first touch from Fedorhajic, but fortune breaks in his favour. Even after an errant clearance, he earns a free kick. And you were not joking, Archie, when you said Josh Pinn was cooked. He's on the turf at the moment. And that is the reason that Aiden Fedorhajic won a free kick. And it will be a living Heidelberg United legend in Sean Ellis, who...
We've had a big moment in this Olympic versus Apia Leichhardt showdown. Apia player has been red carded, Michael Kuda. He's been done for a handball because he's the last man in the line, preventing a goal-scoring opportunity. This is massive. You can see what it means to the home team. They're up, just rubbing salt into the wound there as the Apia Leichhardt player has to make his way off the field. He was copping a bit of grief from the fans as well. Yeah, but plenty still to play out in that one. Still 10 minutes to go in extra time. Let's take you back to our main game. It is Heidelberg leading the way over the Central Coast Mariners, 2-1. What can the champs muster?
who could go down as the hero on a famous night at Olympic. It's flicked in behind, it's cut into the middle, and the offside flag was up. It was off the underside of the crossbar. And probably for the best that it didn't ripple the net, because there would have been some very elated but then swiftly disappointed Burgers supporters here.
Here was great combination play by the front line of Heidelberg. You just can see there, he just ran a little bit early, but great little bit of play by Heidelberg. Like they said, they'd like another goal to really seal this. The substitutions of Heidelberg have really made an impact on this game.
Certainly have. Shepherd has made himself busy. They've replenished the entire front line now. Qual. Heidelberg numbers quick to cover off the marauding Mariners. McCalmont. I doubt he would have had 120 minutes of football penciled in for his Central Coast debut. Wilson on the right-hand side for Central Coast. Swung into the mixer. And Zara couldn't clear. Fowler was more emphatic at the second opportunity. They are 10 minutes away, Heidelberg, from a monumental result. Brantman was pulled back. Nadara, the guilty party, who was swift to get out of the area. Free kick for the Mariners.
It's a challenge that needed to be made, I think, because Brantman was in on goal, and you know, when you're running at that sort of defence, look for a 1-2, especially around Talo players. You don't want that sort of situation.
And it comes from Kusevski. It's a great ball. Tap flicks it on. It's played back into the middle. Big shouts from the Mariners for a potential spot kick, but nothing doing from Alex King. In again from Smith. Away by Collins. It's a bit of a sideways ball, so the Mariners will keep Heidelberg locked into their defensive third.
I think this is what we're going to see a lot of Central Coast Mariners doing towards the end of this game, for the rest of this game.
Yeah, well,
putting a lot of balls in that box.
Yeah, Heidelberg were willing to match them in possession for the 90, but I think this is the period of the game where you start to batten down the hatches, isn't it? Kusevski couldn't find a way past Mohamed Aidara. It's a fact that Central Coast have found to be true on innumerable occasions this evening. McCalmont. To his fellow Leeds youth player Ryan Edmondson. And it's out from Jamal Ali. A throw conceded, but it feels like anywhere will do for Heidelberg at the moment. Kusevski. Adrian Zara at full stretch and over the top of an opposition player. Gorman is looking to make life hard for Diesel Harrington. He was very close to coming up with a retrieval of possession for Heidelberg. But now they've got defending to do in the opposite direction. McCalmont robbed of the ball by Ali. They have to be so careful with how they play these situations from here, the Burgers. And Ali will take it in his stride and run. Shepherd happy to ham it into the corner. Fowler. How intently do they explore the idea of a third goal in this game? They won't have the chance to. It's dropped at the feet of Bailey Brantman. And Edmondson was offside. A bit of intriguing positioning taken up by the Heidelberg back four, but they backed themselves and it worked. Unorthodox but effective.
Yeah, it looked like Brantman was just running out of ideas. Edmondson was the only player forward and he was in an offside position. So it kind of looked like he wanted to take it on by himself, but there was 3 or 4 Heidelberg defenders. This is where they need to be a little bit smarter too, I think, with Heidelberg going forward, is that they don't leave themselves undermanned at the back.
And they might be caught cold here. Will Wilson is on the mark. It's Will Wilson! It's flashing across the face of Yaron Souza's goal. There's been a bright spark off the bench for the Mariners.
Yeah, he certainly has. I just think there it's really needs to be a quality strike, a world-class strike to beat a goalkeeper from that angle. Edmondson was peeling out the outside there. Would have thought maybe a nice little ball in there and then make you run into the 18-yard box, get it back again.
Yeah, you're a chance if you really get behind it or if you arrow it, but a shot along the deck curving right to left, yeah, it's a low percentage opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. You could see that Edmondson was a little bit disappointed that he pulled that trigger there and made that decision.
Tap. McCalmont. There's a trio of Berger's players looking to make his life difficult, and they did. A free kick for the home side, who are getting closer and closer to knocking the Mariners out of the Australia Cup.
And these are valuable minutes that are chewing up the clock. As you can see, Quaff just throw a pickle juice out.
This little back heel out of play. You just saw at the bottom of your screen there from the fourth official, Jonathan Barrero. He's been doing everything tonight, finding coins, back heels. He's had a bit of everything. This game has had a bit of everything. And it could end in the history books as well. 5 minutes remaining for both sides. For Heidelberg to climb the mountain, defeating an A-League outfit again. And for the Central Coast Mariners to survive what will be, if they turn this around, an almighty scare.
Oh, the strange one. I actually didn't think it touched the Heidelberg player and went out for a throw.
Diesel Harrington. Calmont. He's been the Mariners' main man this evening. He's been on the ball so often. Smith goes short and flat, and the spillage fell kindly for Quoll. Kosevsky onto the turf, but nothing doing. Marzi. Leo Marzi for Heidelberg United. A booming switch. Jaden Gorman is offside. Would have been a decent crack on goal as well. Andrew Memorakis in no doubt.
Yeah, Gorman just needs to be a little bit smarter there and see across the line where his run is, because it was a beautiful ball into him.
You can only afford to make those costly errors, leave the door ajar for the Mariners for so long. A lovely ball from Caltax. Smith bends his boot around it. Blocked again by Jamal Ali. Idara skipping around a challenge, but not the second from Caltax. Such a cool customer. The Vanuatu international, Vanuatu captain, and now a Central Coast Mariners stalwart. The sands of time are seriously starting to work against Mark Jackson's men. And Jamal Ali will be more than happy to see stuff like that. Collins. He can just about reach out and touch at this Heidelberg side. Ellis. That was quality from Sean Ellis. And now Marzi's on the far side. Twisting and turning. And away from Will Wilson. He'll head for the corner, will Leo Marzi. Will he look to feed a teammate? He'll find support in the form of Dom Fala. And there's 2 minutes of the extra time period to play, and Heidelberg are comfortably knocking it around the back. Ellis. Ali for Idara. Gorman making a clever run, and the space opens up for Ali. Now Leo Marzi. What can he fashion? Leo Marzi for Heidelberg United! Into the body of Adam Pavlicic. Right now, it's Heidelberg who look more threatening than the Mariners as the final minute of extra time approaches.
Yeah, he's been electric out on this left-hand side. He's finding a lot of space. Cuts in, and like you say, you hit that ball hard in front of the goalkeeper, could bounce anywhere. But these are valuable minutes that Heidelberg are chewing off this clock with their possession and have that confidence to be able to play that ball around.
John Anastasiadis is not going to like the number that is about to flash up on Jonathan Barrero's fourth official board. I'm pretty sure I saw the number 4.
Yeah, it's funny. You don't know where sometimes, I'm guessing as a player or a manager, where they find those extra minutes.
And where they find those extra free kicks. John Anastasiadis thought that one against Jaden Gorman was a little bit soft, but it provides a much-needed opening for Adam Pavlicic and the Central Coast Mariners. They'll be getting close to going up if they get a set piece at this point. It is sent sailing forward. Kept alive by Noah Smith. Up went Brantman. And away emphatically by Leo Marzi. Pavlicic, oh, trouble here. He'll have to double back quickly. Gorman has got the keeper for close company. He's got the beating. This could be it for Heidelberg United. It's left for Sean Ellis. The living Heidelberg United legend cements his place in Burgers folklore. What a night at Olympic Village. The NPL outfit have trounced the treble winners. And Sean Ellis, who bleeds yellow and black, is the man who seals the deal. You just couldn't write a better Australia Cup script than this, Archie Thompson.
Wow, Pavlicic was caught nowhere. And what about that step over? I tell you what, that is probably the coolest step over I've ever seen. And Sean Ellis, like you said, he's an absolute living legend of Heidelberg. He is the man to slot that away. But the R has just been excellent. And the substitution made an impact straight away. And like you say, Pavlicic in no man's land. That step over was just incredible. And all he had to do was just slot it away.
Ice cold from Mohamed Idara.
Ice cold.
Ice cold. And Sean Ellis's name has been jumping out off the page on the substitutes bench all through the 90 and up till extra time. You just knew somehow, some way, Sean Ellis would have a hand in a potential cup set.
Well, you got to feel for Pavlicic. I don't know what he was doing there.
I mean, their win against Perth Glory was great, but this has been something to behold from John Anastasiadis' Heidelberg side. They haven't just won this game, they have won it playing their football their way. It hasn't just been 11 men behind the ball hoping for the best. They have matched it with the best side in Australia.
Yeah, definitely. And if you look back at where this game started, Central Coast were really dominating early parts of that first half. They clawed their way back into it. They take a lead, then Central Coast come back, and you feel like that, you know, the pressure of that will start to build. But like you said, JA has got this team, got their philosophy, know exactly what they need to do. It's all about hard work.
Oh, and now it's gotten rather unsightly on the touchline. A boil over. Ben Collins involved. Noah Smith involved. Jamal Ali involved in being pulled away from the incident. A slightly sour note. Things to end. You can understand the frustration from this Central Coast Mariners side, though. They have tried their best, the A-League outfit, but it is all going to be for naught. And John Anastasiadis makes his case to the referees. You could see Ben Collins there with Ryan Edmondson and Jamal Ali in the thick of the action. But it's chewing away time that aids the Burgers.
Yeah, it certainly does.
This is going to be a night that they will tell tales about for years to come. Heidelberg United have trounced the treble winners. It is one of the great Australia Cup upsets. It is just the second time in the 10-year history of the competition that the reigning champions will exit at the round of 32 at the hands of an NPL outfit. Heidelberg United, after 7 years of wait, have slain an A-League's giant once again. And the celebrations on Catalina Street will linger long into the night. First season as Heidelberg head coach has already got its crowning jewel, Archie. It doesn't matter what they do in NPL Victoria now. This is monumental stuff.
Wow, it's incredible. I mean, you look at Josh Penn. We talked about his, I guess, woes in front of goal. But, you know, you pop up and score 2 goals in a round of 32 in the Australian Cup. And then the icing on the cake, I really love seeing Sean Ellis out there. I'm going to dream about that step over, because that was just ice cold, like you said. Great finish.
Written in the stars for Sean Ellis and for Heidelberg United. A famous cup night sees them knock off the A-League champions. The full-time score, Heidelberg United 3, Central Coast Mariners 1. What a night of cup football, and we're ready to soak in the action on the sideline where Michael Zapponi is down at pitch level.
Oh, he's all smiles. Joshua, what a fantastic performance tonight. Highlight of your career, highlight of the Heidelberg United history tonight.
Yeah, 100%, definitely. Look, our club, it's an amazing club. We've done it all before. We've had many experiences like this here. Come really close, beat Perth Glory, got Melbourne City in the next round. So we're a big club. So obviously, yeah, credit to Central Coast. Unreal outfit. They did really well tonight. They've had 2 weeks pre-season, I think, 3 weeks, so fair play to them. To our boys, I just swore, sorry.
You almost swore.
Yeah, I know.
You held it.
I held it back. Yeah, to our boys, obviously, Johnny A's come in and changed our environment to a very, very professional sort of environment. Obviously, massive commitment, so, but we all took it on, and we get these kind of rewards. So, yeah.
Double for you tonight. First, the penalty. Was there ever any doubt you were going to take it, and then talk us through the second one? That was special.
The pen, 100%. We took pens last night, slotted it. Usually Adrian Zara takes it, but I thought I'd quickly run to the ball, get a goal. Second one, just, in the box, natural instincts to just take a touch and finish. So, nothing special, but, it's good.
We celebrate tonight, or do we look after the body and get ready for the weekend?
We've got actually a massive 2 games coming up, to be fair. We want to finish as high as we can for the season. So I'll keep tonight's celebrations under the wrap.
Thanks, enjoy it. There's a big crowd over there enjoying it. Well done.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
All right, Sean Ellis joins us too. Another legend of the club. Well done, mate. We're waiting for you to come on. You came on and you made an impact instantly. What does that mean to you? You've been here for so long.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Obviously, through 2017 beating Perth here as well. It's just bringing back all the memories. And yeah, it's been a great season so far. We've been playing different kind of football, but yeah, I'm doing my part anyway. I'm a bit older now, so I'm coming in and doing my part when I can.
You're talking about playing a different type of football. You played football tonight. Yeah. You really took the game to the Central Coast, the champions of Australian football. That didn't daunt you? Was that the instruction from the coach?
Yeah, look, we obviously know they're a top team in that, but you just go out and you just take the moment, take the chance you get, and yeah, it's all glory to God anyway. That's it. And I'll just keep on battling away for the finals coming up. 2 games left. I'm really looking forward to the final countdown of the...
Yeah, that's 4 out of 4 for Melbourne teams in this competition. to knock off big opponents says something about what we're doing down here in Melbourne, does it?
No, it's been good. It's always been a good league since I played, and it's always competitive, really strong, fast, and yeah, it shows again. And we're getting closer and closer to the A-League, it looks like, as well, so it's been good.
And a nice way to finish it with you. We're just coming on and just a nice put it on a platter for you.
Getting a few touches in, and then, yeah, just it sat nicely for me. And it just trickled over, but I'll take that anyway. So,
thanks for joining us. Well done.
No worries, take it easy, thanks.
Well, absolute scenes, and look at that. What a way to seal it for them. Heidelberg United, the Burgers, are going bonkers, and why wouldn't they? The other team a little deflated. You could say the pin has pricked them and the deflation has happened because the Central Coast Mariners going down. Joshua Pinn with 2 goals. But, Macca, wow. One of the cup sets, one of the biggest we've seen in this competition.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah, because considering where the Mariners, the season they had last year and all the silverware they hold at the moment, it's disappointing for them. 3rd year in a row they've gone out at this stage, but you've got to give it to Heidelberg. Like they said in commentary, they didn't sit back and try and just put all their men behind the ball. They played their football and they kept going and they deserved the win.
Well, Roy, you said that they probably wouldn't have the legs, but they found a way, even though they were limping around. I mean, it was just that bit of grit, determination, and man, they're there doing it on their home patch. It was great for them to fight through and to get those 2 goals.
No, it was terrific scenes, well deserved. I think Mariners ran out of ideas in the end, to be quite honest. They've got a bit of work to do. But yeah, Josh Pinn took his 2nd goal especially very well. And the 3rd goal there, Sharif Aidara's step over is iconic.
Yeah.
And Sean Ellis with the finish, and it's really nice to hear someone with an accent on TV.
Really? Yeah. Subtitles needed? No? Let's have a look at the goals from this one. An almighty cup set. Yep, it was a special night indeed in Victoria. They're doing so well there. I mean, our 3rd cup set of the competition so far, and here's how it all started. It started from the penalty spot because of this, and Pinn, he stepped up. I like his comments there. Like, usually the skipper takes them, but I was like, I want to get a goal in this. I mean, that's what it takes, doesn't it, Macca? The confidence to stand over the ball and knock it in.
Yeah, and, you've got to have confidence to take penalties. It's a lot of pressure. Like we said earlier, he probably didn't get the direction he wanted, but he got some pretty good power behind it, and although Pavlicic's got his hand to it, there was nothing he could do to stop it.
Then, after that, in the second half, we got Mikhail Docker, who, again, had a sensational season last year, pint-sized Brazilian, and he took his chance as well. Right, left, went straight through the legs of the Burgers defender, and you really thought at this moment that the momentum was starting to shift and that the Central Coast, just the class of the Central Coast, would see them through, because they did have their opportunities after this.
Definitely. I think after the initial scare of going 1-0 down, you could see Docker there saying calm down, as if, we're back in this. And to be fair, for the rest of the 90 minutes they looked strong, but this goal here from Pinn really kind of changed the game and the dynamic of the game. Good ball inside, good touch, and I think it hits Celtic on the kneecap and goes over the goalkeeper. But that won't matter to Josh Pinn. Great scenes, great celebration, and then the 3rd goal Macca's going to touch on here was terrific.
This is just classy, isn't it? I mean, the step over.
It is. Well, it's an error here, isn't it? Let's be honest. Again, too long on the ball. And I'm thinking here, just shoot with your left foot. Just doesn't matter. It's at the last minute anyway. Just go for glory. But he does wonderfully well. But that there, I could watch that over and over again, because 100 out of 100 people are going to just try and put that away, aren't they? But he's just gone, nah, I'm just going to sell him a dummy, and here, my teammate, you go and do it. You get the glory. You go and put it away. It was just beautiful.
Would you
great composure.
have had the confidence to do that, Macca? Just the old step over?
Would I step over for someone else?
Great to watch. It's great to see it in action. I've heard about it.
I've heard about it. You've heard about these scenes too, because these were absolutely nuts. Well done to the Burgers, getting it done in the end. 3-1. Can you believe it? 3-2 for NWS Spirit. That's over the Glenorchy Knights. That was their first appearance in the round of 32, the team from Tassie. And then Olympic FC, scenes there as well. They got the win in extra time over Apia Leichhardt. That was an absolute arm wrestle that one. But let's go into the dressing sheds, because this is what it's all about. These live pictures, and I'm sure any moment now when they all... See, look at the kids.
Health and safety issue there straight away.
Oh, that is what it is all about. The old blokes are in there, the kids, the wives, the girlfriends, and of course the players. Mac, a special night. This is a moment they will never forget, beating the treble team.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And we talked, it was just John Anastasiadis spoke before the game in that little feature we had about how when he was a kid he remembers being here. These kids will be talking about that in 30, 40 years' time, how they were in the shed, how they were there at the game when they beat the Australian champions, the AFC Cup champions and the premiers all in one night and their home ground. So they'll never forget it.
I mean, just imagine that for the young kids in there, watching the guys that they see run around at training on the weekend, beating the A-League champions, the AFC Cup champions, the Premier's Plate holders. Honestly, what a way to get inspired if you want to play this great game.
Magic, and they're the photographs that are going to be on the wall at the club in years to come, and they're the drinks that all the guys are going to have over the years, and that's the game they're going to talk about.
But not too many drinks tonight. As we heard from Josh Pinn...
I don't believe it.
I don't believe a word of that.
Yeah.
When you get that spirit going, there's no way. There has to be a couple enjoyed. All right, let's have a look at the other highlights from the games tonight. We're going to go to the Spirit game over Glenorchy. Now, this one looked like it was going to be one-way traffic. We thought it would be. It's at the Arctic Circle where it's extremely cold. The home side, well, 3-0. It could have been more, should have been more, but still they'll be very happy with this, and on to the round of 16, which is a great achievement for this side who, well, Roy, you know them quite well, and they're not doing the greatest in the New South Wales NPL, but geez, to be able to go through to the round of 16 in the Australia Cup, what a way to boost your spirits at the back end of the season.
They've kind of lacked a little bit of cutting edge in the league this year. They play some nice football, like you can see here, lovely build-up play, but they don't do enough of that. Cutting teams open and finishing the game off, and great play by Chidiac, great run by Darko, wonderful finish, as was the first goal as well at the back stick. But you know, they're a good side on their day. They passed the ball very well, but this was a game I think we all tipped them to win.
Yeah.
And this is the third goal coming up, and Zach Chianchi eventually gets on the end of it. But again, good build-up play. Glenorchy with no answers, and Chianchi